Welcome ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Today we are having Campus Legend 2021 Week 2 League of Legends. So I'm your host for today, Jolene Pop. Campus Legends launched in 2019 by Singapore Cyber Sports Online Gaming Association, in short SCOGA. So it's a yearly tournament. So this will be our third season because we started in 2019. So it's a platform for student gamers that represent their institutions in esports and also to discover various careers in the gaming industry. So it's a good opportunity for students to actually test water to see if they are interested or even suit the sector. With that, today we actually have Group B of the League of Legends Campus Legends with 7 institutions participating. Of course, we'll be having 6 teams that will be playing for today. So who will emerge as the top? We'll see later. Of course, if you see in the screen here, right, we have this Lenovo laptop. This laptop is Lenovo Legend 5. So it's actually the new AMD Ryzen collaboration. Of course, you can see that it's very sleek here, right? Like the color and everything. I really, really love this laptop. I haven't really tried carrying it, but later during the break, I'll like take it up and carry. Right, so for the first game, we actually have ITE College Ace versus Nanyang Poly. So from what I know, Nanyang Poly last year is actually the champion of 2020, right? So let's see, whether if they will win today's game. And of course, here's your chance to actually participate in this prediction. So we actually have giveaway today with Lenovo Legion. Can I have this? Thank you. Right, this is a keyboard and mouse bundle, KM300 of Lenovo Legion. So comment down below your predictions for the teams, all 3 games. You can predict game 1, game 2, game 3, whichever. And then we comment who you think will win, which team, and why do you think they will win, plus hashtag Legion, Legion. So at the end of the stream, we will pick a winner to walk away with this bundle. Thank you. And also, right, there's also a QR code that's showing here. This QR code here, this is a QR code for Uniqlo. So actually, you can download Uniqlo's app. We are actually also giving, there's a lot of prizes that we are giving out in the stream. So we are also giving away 5 lucky winners to actually get $100 gift voucher with every download of the QR code. So all you have to do is just download, scan the QR code. I repeat, scan the QR code, DM our Instagram, Singapore Cyber Sports, with the screenshot of your download, and we will pick 5 lucky winners over the span of the whole duration to actually win the $100 gift voucher. Of course, not only do you get to win the $100 gift voucher, you also get to have a $5 voucher upon downloading, as well as an Airism mask. I mean, I'm not wearing mask now, right, because I'm alone. But you will get an Airism mask with that. Right, so without further ado, I guess you guys are like tired of hearing me talk and stuff, right? So with me today, I have the casters, Raiko and Gopsy. So give it up to them.
Thank you, Jolene Pop. And now we're ready to start Game 1 of ITECE versus Nanyang Polytechnic. Gopsy, what do you think of the matchup today so far?
I think that, ITC being new to the scene, they should be able to perform something new for us. But despite them going 0-1, we should expect them to bounce back from that and bring us something new today.
Nanyang Polytechnic, however, they are the defending champions from last year, one of the tournament favorites for this year. They ran 1-0 last week against Murdoch, so they are looking to extend their lead to 2-0 to continue maintaining the top spot in the Group B because they're expected to take the first spot of the group. So I do expect ITECE to be trying to challenge for the 1 win they need for this week. However, Nanyang Polytechnic seems to be the favorites for this game. I think it is an underdog game for ITECE.
Yeah, underdog game, especially when newer players are into the scene. And like I think you said, the ranks for the players should be able to contest Nanyang Poly in this game.
Yes, I think just through lading mechanics itself, most of the ITC players are relatively not of the highest caliber. But I think as a team, if ITC are able to come up with some unique strategies that we might see later in the game, I think ITC is able to pull off an upset win against Nanyang Polytechnic. There should be a chance for them to win the game. However, I think just by the odds itself, Nanyang Polytechnic the definite favorite. So as we wait for the pick and bans to start,
Pick a fight you can't win.
alright, it looks like the draft is already beginning. So look at the bans coming in. We do see Set and Z being banned out by ITCE, and on Nanyang Polytechnic side, we see the Wukong.
Yeah, I love the Z ban for IT colleges right here. It's a niche pick. You know, maybe IT colleges could bring out a certain strategy here, but with the Z ban, let's see what they can bring out. You know.
We see the Katarina ban coming out from Nanyang Polytechnic, probably on the side of ITCE. The mid laner definitely plays a lot of Katarina, more of a target ban than actually a meta ban. And we look at the champs, we see Lee Sin and Set. Those are two meta picks right now in the current patch. So those two being banned out is just ITCE. You're expecting the Nanyang Polytechnic players, but for Nanyang Polytechnic, they're just banning out champions where I think ITCE are very proficient at. So the Wukong, Katarina, Morgana being banned, ITCE banning the Lee Sin, Set, and Z. So I do want to see what they pick for ITCE.
Yeah, I love the Morgana ban. No one loves to get root for more than 3 seconds, you know, once you get that Q up. And her flexibility is unparalleled.
Yeah, you see the Teemo hover for a while before looking at the Gnar. I don't like the Gnar first pick, just because ITCE's strongest player is a top laner, so I do want them to actually look into a more aggressive top lane, something like the Jace, something like the Fiora, probably the Camille as well if he has it in his pocket. But it looks like they're gonna sell with the Gnar, a very safe top lane pick. They might be looking to play to the bottom side instead this game.
But then look at the side of Nanyang Poly, they have the Gwen picked. The flexibility of Gwen allows her to go top, middle, and maybe even jungle if you're courageous enough.
Oh, we see the Rengar lock-in for VC in the jungle. I think Rengar definitely one of those very cheesy jungle, but if he's a hit, definitely can go far. But we do see one of the most favorite champions in League of Legends right now, the Yasuo.
Yep, Yasuo, you know, ITC with the Yasuo, you know, it's someone that you cannot feed early game, or else he's just gonna stomp you throughout the entire game. And an Echo, possibly in the jungle, maybe?
I think it's definitely going to be an Echo jungle. However, we might actually see the Yasuo even go to the bottom lane. We don't know because we do remember the Yasuo Gragas meta where the bottom lane goes the Yasuo and the Gragas. But it can be even an Echo mid lane, Yasuo AD carry. There we see the Gragas support coming in. We do want to see that happen possibly, so ITC is able to shake up the draft a little bit. But looking at the picks so far, all solo lanes and jungle pick, no bottom lane yet.
Yeah. However, they do ban out the Zyra though. I think they want to target the supports that can give that knockup to that Yasuo.
Indeed, but I think there's better champions to kind of ban out. If you think of knockouts, right? You think of the Alistar, the Nautilus, or even probably the Gragas as you mentioned. But it looks like they took out one of the knockout champions, which is the Alistar. So I think ITC will probably looking for the Gragas.
Yeah, it's either the Gragas or the Malphite here, you know, both of them can knock up the champions in such a way that, you know, it allows the Yasuo to get a 2-man ulti off.
I mean, if they do pick the Malphite, right, we have to ask ourselves, where will the Malphite go, right? I think lately in solo queue, there has been a rise of support Malphite, right? But I don't see it as a viable option against Nanyang Polytechnic because they just punish you in lane. So looking how NYP will actually look to take the draft here, and they're actually hovering the Tryndamere, they might actually look to lock it in because I think NYP is very confident of their laners to just down it from lane itself.
Yeah, but then once you choose these champions, where does the ADC go?
The ADC is the Kalista, as you mentioned, because I think Nanyang Polytechnic, they realize that they just want to play standard, play quick, end the game, and then call it a day for themselves, right? This is just one game that they have to play today. ITC, on the other hand, I want to see whether they'll pick any knockout champions to combo in with the Yasuo, or will they just look to pick a standard bottom lane, probably a long-range AD carry, as well as some good engaged support. But they're hovering the Master E and Nico, so I think it might be the Nico support, right?
Yeah, Nico support, I love to see that really. But instead it's the Fiora, so where does the Gnar go then?
Oh, I think they're listening to the cast, bro. They're listening to say, I want to see the Fiora in the top lane, and Fiora, oh my goodness, one of my favorite champions in the league. So, very excited to see this pick coming out, especially in the game where I'm casting. I want to see how I use this champion to really pilot against the Gwen. Fiora has a very strong matchup against the Gwen. However, if the Gwen gets a lead against the Fiora, it becomes very unbearable. And ITC locks in the final pick here with the Rakan. Where's AD carry?
I think it's Yasuo. A Yasuo AD carry in Campus Legends. Let's go with that.
I think NYP is just kind of amused that they're looking to pick the Yasuo and AD carry. it's kind of a bit of a disrespect, right? Don't you think? Because
Yeah,
when you pick the Yasuo without a knockup champion in the bottom lane, I mean Rakan has to knock up in the W, but it's not a sure guaranteed lane, right? So when you pick Yasuo without a knockup champion, it's kind of very disrespectful to play in the bottom lane because there's no guaranteed knockup for the ulti. So ITC here with a very rough draft, but I think that they are able to pull it off if they are very coordinated or they have did a lot of practice with this draft. But Nanyang Polytechnic definitely has the better draft in general. I think that NYP can carry from every single lane. Kalista just strong lane in the bottom lane with Leona. Gwen just able to solo carry the top lane. Rengar jungle, if he managed to get the invade off, he's able just to pop off and impact every other lane, and no one in ITEC is able to survive his just one-shot burst.
Yep, the Akali and Leona, I love these two combos. You see, once Leona lands that solar flare, Akali just goes in and executes all of you.
Yes, but I guess for Nanyang Polytechnic, they need to let Akali skill, right? And Akali is one of the best scaling champion because in the late game, he just does so much damage. So I want to see how NYP is able to give the Akali the time to scale up. But if they go for those very skirmish kind of playstyle that they want to, I think Akali will be skilled very early because he gets the items earlier if he gets the kills. So the more kills he gets, the faster he scales. And in general, when you play against a team that has early game bruising ability, you just want to keep going in. And I think Nanyang Polytechnic, they have the better bruising comp, right? Because the champions are able to go for those early trades. Just that for ITECE on the other hand, they want to scale a bit because when you think of Yasuo, you think of Fiora, they just take over the side lanes in the late game, right? But with the Rengar, it may be a little bit difficult to go to the side lanes because you're never alone, right? You're never going for the 1v1 because Rengar is always able to be invincible and go in for the solo bait. The top laner probably will have to be very careful. The Yasuo has to be very careful. I think even Echo has to be careful, right? Every lane is not safe because when there's Rengar around, you have to play through the understanding of where he will be pathing, as well as he has the options of jumping for the bush. So no bushes are safe as well.
Yep, that's why your support for ITCE really must come into play here with that visions and those wards. But I want to see one of them, the supports, bring out the one of the support items that we don't regularly see. That warding item, the other one.
Oh, that one that gives the extra control wards, right?
Yeah.
But when you think of Rengar, right, no matter how many control wards you buy, does it matter because he has all this unique style of gank and he can just jump from the screen away. You're not even looking at the screen and he just jumps at you. I don't think it really matters much, but it's better you are able to shut down the Rengar early, right? So you're thinking of trying to track down his pathing early game, trying to prevent him from just taking over the camps, looking for his early invades as well. Those are the more important stuff you have to look at when you look at going against a Rengar. But just looking at the solo lanes themselves, I think it's pretty easy to know which is the better laner in terms of champions itself. When you think of Gwen versus Fiora, Gwen is favourite. When you think of Akali versus Echo, it might be an Echo favourite early game, but towards the late game, it is Akali favourite. And the bottom lane, without the Graggers that we wanted to see from the Yasuo combo, so I don't think ITCE has any priority lanes. It will be a difficult game, definitely, but if ITCE is able to come up with a unique strategy, as we mentioned earlier, they can definitely get an early lead. And they need the early lead because the later the game goes, the harder it gets for them.
I think it's just best that they play safe and wait for those ganks to arrive. Unless that Rengar, like you said, jumps out from nowhere and then just counter ganks you on that bottom lane or any lane that you're planning to gank.
So looking at the draft, who do you think will take it home for the first game of the day? Do you think it's ITC or do you think it's Nanyang Polytech?
Looking at the lane matchups, it really seems like a Nanyang Poly favorite. It really seems that they can win their lanes, but who knows, in those team fights, the Rakan knock-up into the Yasuo R can really be a threat.
Yeah, so you're looking at this super wombo combo coming in from the side of ITECE. They do have the Mega Gnar as well, right? So that actually helps to actually extend the combo duration. Then Mega Gnar ulti definitely gives you the knock-up as well that you need. So excited to see how they actually pull it off. But now we look at the draft. Where does the Gnar go? He's probably going to the top lane, right? But against the Gwen, right? You'd rather have the Fiora to go to the top lane. So a mid lane Gnar is probably the answer, but you don't really see mid lane Gnars, right?
You don't usually see those. So against the Akali, this should be an interesting matchup.
I mean, it's a very safe lane, right? I don't think the Akali is able to solo kill you, and I don't think the Gnar is able to do anything to the Akali because of how much clear pressure the Akali has in the mid lane. And in general, I just think that Gnar is too safe a pick, although he has good matchups, but it's generally not a very good champion in the current patch because there's so many strong champions. Like you see Lee Sin, you see Nocturne. I mean, they were banned, but they are better champions but I don't see ITC ever prioritizing them. So kind of seems that they're not comfortable with the champion yet, right? So the Na in the mid lane, definitely not what I wanted to see.
Yeah. So I think really Nanyang Poly with the Akali against the Na, I think the Akali should be able to get this early game advantage, push in the wave and then roam around the map, help your team whether there needs help.
Indeed. So ITCE kind of like the underdog side of this matchup. Because Nanyang Polytechnic, the defending champions, they need to be able to try to bounce back because last week ITCE they lost to NUS. So going to week 2, if they lose to Nanyang Polytechnic again, they will be in the bottom of the group, and it'll be very difficult, right, for them to come up to the top of the group because when you think of it, it's only a single round robin in this group as well. So 6 games to play, and if they lose the first 2, they have to go on a 4-game winning streak to try and comfortably qualify for the top 8 of the tournament.
With that being said, let's go head on to the Rift as it's the start of the first game of Campus Legends.
Yes, and we talk about where the Na will go. It seems that the Na will actually still go to the top lane, so it'll be a Ignite Fiora in the mid lane.
Ooh, Ignite Fiora, that early game against Akali. With that Ignite, who do you think will win against in the middle?
I mean, the Ignite just gives you the extra solo kill threat, but I still think that the Akali is able just to control the lane just because of how aggressive Akali is in general against the Fiora, because Fiora really has to play around the vitals, and if Akali goes into the shout, it's very difficult to actually find the vitals and actually, look at where he is able to trade with the Akali. But now you look at the items itself, it seems that the Fiora forgot to buy a red pot.
Yeah, but I think you see the Rengar, he doesn't have the refillable pots. How do you think he will survive the jungle, or does he have that passive that heals him?
I thought the Rengar bought a control ward. He actually placed it, I think, onto the top red side of the jungle. So I think this is kind of a unique strategy, don't you think so?
Yeah, it could mean that, the opponent Echo, he could be planning for the Echo to be invading his jungle. So maybe I think that's why.
Yes, he wants to get the vision on the Echo, so he's able to know whether the Echo is coming to his top side, and that allows him to go for the bottom side invade. So it's a very good idea coming in from South of Nanyang Polytechnic. ITEC going for the standard red leash for the Echo, so Echo will be pathing to the top side, and the Rengar will be pathing to the bottom side.
Yeah, and like you said, they should be playing to their top lanes, as that's their, I believe, the best player in IT College East. So that's why I think the popping up to the top is interesting. And now some trades in the bottom lane seems interesting enough that the Yasuo passive actually saves him some of his HP.
Yeah, so the few hundred damage saved from the Ren. But we kind of talked about it in Champions League about how Kalista itself just a very strong priority champion in terms of laning prowess. So look at the small trades here coming from NYP, just chunking them out half HP just before they even touch the crypts itself.
It's nothing you can do, and look at even to the mid lane. All their health is all nearly half at this point for the bot and mid. Forced to use the pots, I believe.
Oh my
Maybe
god.
even a solo queue down here.
Yeah, I think the Fiora wasn't really looking at his map or something because he just stood still while Kai chose a Q on him as well as an auto attack. I think this Fiora might get solo killed. He has to go for early recall if he doesn't want to get dived on.
Yeah, he has to play safe right here before the Akali goes in for a solo kill. Yes, he's forced to miss his minions. But I guess that is better than, losing your life.
Yes, indeed. But as a Fiora in general, you just want to be aggressive in the lane. Look at bottom lane, however.
And then you don't go for the kill. I guess playing safe is the better idea for the bottom lane.
Nanyang Polytechnic right now just looking to snowball the lead from the lane. Most lanes here have their own lead as well. Mid lane here is just kind of suffocating for the Fiora to play because he doesn't have teleport, so he needs to stay in lane or else he'll be losing out in terms of EXP. And on the side of the top lane as well, it is evenly matched. The Gwen is kind of shoving the Na. I never really see Gwen versus Na before. It's a very unique matchup.
Especially when, Gwen has that W to negate any CC that comes towards her.
Yeah, but when you think of Gwen and W, it's a very sabotagey kind of skill, right? Because if there's a teammate behind you and you use W on yourself,
I think this is a solo kill as Akali gets the first blood, first 400 gold, and not even a 1-for-1 trade.
That was just the mid laner of ITC not understanding how Akali works probably because he just took in a full trade and just lost his entire health bar with were trying to trade with the Akali with the Shroud. So that was just...
Ooh, wait, hold on to your sights as bottom lane already gets a trade for the Akali and now looking for even more on that Leona. Possibly needs to land this knockup. Ooh, goes wide. Could have gotten a kill there.
So 1 kill onto the mid laner of Nanyang Polytechnic and 1 kill to the AD carry of ITE College is the Yasuo. So this is the win condition, right? To talk about, we want to see how the Yasuo skills into the late game, because that's how ITC will probably try to look for the team comp, because it all revolves around the Yasuo. All these knockups, all this CC is for the Yasuo to pop off.
Yeah, but look into the jungle as there may be a CS gap of 10. You see, I think the Echo lost the 2 Scuttle Crabs. No one likes to get double scuttled there.
Yeah, losing the 2 Scuttle Crab is kind of big in terms of momentum, right? We want to talk about how the Echo needs to get those early lead, because
Here come maybe a solo queue even. He doesn't have Ignite to finish it off, but the Gwen, gets a good trade because of the Ignite.
There was a very close kill, close fight coming in from both sides. Nanyang Polytechnic almost actually got the kill. The Gwen almost managed to land his snip onto the Gnar, and now almost managed to land his last auto attack that will actually kill the Gwen. So very close fight coming in the top side. This is actually a relatively more even match than what I expected.
Talking about the bottom lane fight just now, you can see that the Kalista actually burned both of her summoners.
There was a very lucky escape from the Fiora. But look at the Fiora now. He is 30 CS down and Akali's ulti up.
Yeah, you miss that W, you miss the parry, and then you just die on the tower against the execute. What is happening in the mid lane?
The Fiora is 35 CS down, 6 minutes into the game. This is very, very unnatural, but when you look at the score as well, 2-1, the mid laner is popping off.
Maybe it's time for the Akali to just go and buy the Darkseal and start destroying the Fiora even in the lane.
Yeah, I think Huang Yeji should just go home right now. He should just probably get Darkseal, stack it up, look for the early Magi. He might want to look to chase the Echo in the jungle, so look at how aggressive this Akali is playing.
Yeah, and look at the top lane wave. If you can deny that much CS away from the Gwen, you should be able to get a pretty good lead.
So the first dragon goes over to the side of Nanyang Polytechnic. It is the Infernal Dragon, so there's a possibility of it being a cloud, mountain, or ocean. But look, the next dragon will be an ocean, so it looks going to be a cloud or mountain soul game. I think in general you just don't want the cloud soul, right? Because I think the cloud soul doesn't really do much for the side of NYP, probably just for the Rengar, because it allows the Rengar to go invincible more, uses ulti more to just impact the side lanes more. But the mountain soul is definitely the more preferred soul in this case.
And then you look at the bot lane, because your bot lane doesn't have prior, it allows that Rengar to just invade, and you may even have a dive here.
Yeah, so Rengar is hovering there. Rakan, please do not face check the bush.
Yeah, he doesn't even have the wards up to even know whether the Rengar is even at bot side. Well, look at top, the top gank is going very successful. A 1-for-1 trade maybe as Nara lives with a sliver of health. Now on the bot lane, the dive is coming on as the Rakan just goes down, and it's all down to the...
Ooh, the Yasuo gets a 1-for-1!
Yeah,
Will he look for the 2-for-1?
Maybe, but he forces the flash out, he goes for the flash, and the Kalista out pulls her back to save her from Yasuo's hands.
Oh, the Yasuo is popping off. We did not expect this AD Yasuo to come out in this game, but ITC is pulling off one of their unique cards, the trap card probably of the series, and it is working out just that he is 40 CS down.
Now, despite being 40 CS down, he has 2 kills, and he already has that lifesteal item, which allows him to get those trades pretty easily, I believe.
Yeah, but it means that ITC we just have to play to the bottom side, right? Although Gwen is losing a little bit to the Na, but he's ahead CS, and look at your
solo kill again, under tower even. Doesn't even take a tower shot.
This is just mid gap, right?
Yeah.
You know those solo queue games where you lock into the game and like starts flaming your mid laner? This is just mid gap, right, in general, because Akali is like 60 CS up. 8 minutes into the game.
Now, maybe you could have picked a ranged champion against her, but I guess the Fiora could be a decent pick.
I mean, Fiora definitely is able to play the lane, but it just depends on how you're able to understand the vital locations on the Akali. But it just seems that as Velte as the mid laner, he's not really aware of how to play this matchup, because I think he's not used to playing against Akali. And this just shows in terms of how he's doing the lane trades, right? And it's not very favorable for the Fiora. And now this allows NYP to really just play through any side of the lane because the mid laner is always having priority in the mid lane. And when you look in general for the mid lane, it is where you want to have a decent matchup because whenever the mid lane roams, it creates so much pressure for the other side lanes to really fall back. And because the mid laner is able to just dive you on the turret, with the jungle comes over and they set it up nicely for you. But ITC doesn't have the mid lane anymore because it is all under Huang Yeji.
It's pretty much a free mid now, and look at the item. The Akali now has her first mythic against everyone, so she basically can roam and get those free easy kills.
Now when you look at Akali as well, he doesn't have the Dark Seal. I thought we wanted to see him the Dark Seal early game because that's how he's able to snowball. Oh, he's caught by the Vision Ward.
Got by the Vision Ward, and then look, the trades coming in. He maybe even misses the stun, but it seems very favorable for Nanyang Poly. Maybe even dive, takes a few tower shots, but you know, no one really dies. Maybe a few forces the flash out of the Echo actually. So I guess it's sort of a favorable trade for the Nanyang Poly side.
Yes, and Akali is probably looking for another dive.
He's now just pushing it off. Oh, Fiora. Maybe even just trading pretty well, but look at that damage coming off from Akali. Knowing her limits and knowing where she can play allows her to get that kill without taking too much damage from the tower.
And when you look at the Fiora item, she's actually rushing Tevice and solo kill here from the top laner. ITECE trying to fight back from the top lane, but this is a very difficult game in general.
You know, once you can't pin down that Akali, she's basically free to kill whoever she wants.
Now, when you look at this game itself, 11 minutes to the game, a 4,000 gold lead for NYP, most of it through the mid laner, who is 4-0, still doesn't have the Dark Seal, right? And we want to see the Magi, right? Because it allows Huang Yi just snowball his lead even further. But look at the Fiora, he is going for the Ninja Tebai against Akali, and there's a Gwen itself, she's a side laner also. So I don't think he knows what damage Akali does.
Yeah, especially with the changes to Akali's second E, that the amount of damage, you really cannot be able to contest that.
Yes, and it just kind of shows about how the lane itself is so important for ITC because if they fall behind too early, their team comp don't really do that well if they need to scale up too late. But if they're given the early game lead, they can definitely scale well because their comps are very bruiser heavy.
Yeah. So, but I think, you know, ITC has more CC compared to Nanyang Poly, so they may be able to lock down their Akali.
Yes, and look at Huang Yeji now. He is playing very aggressively. He's literally just standing in front of the river line and he's just not bothered about any jungle gangs coming because he knows he can escape. He knows he can probably slow kill a Fiora again. He's looking for the slow kill again.
Yeah, it's just disgusting how he can just dive you on the tower and your tower in mid is just now the easiest to destroy. So maybe the... Oh, but TP down to bot side. Maybe a 3-for-1. Oh, look, it's Huang AG going in. He gets the assist. Oh, and look, the Echo out forces... Doesn't even save him from the Rengar.
And the Rengar just summons the Herald onto the bottom side. It will probably down the whole turret because the AD carry is there to shove it. So NYP here, first turret, 30 minutes into the game.
Yeah, and they may even get the mid tier 1 as well. And look, another solo kill. Jesus.
That is just unfortunate, right? You know, I always have this catchphrase. It's called unlucky. And when you think of this game, it's just unlucky that the mid lane is now 5-0 down, 13 minutes into the game.
Yeah, Akali is just a champion you don't want to be feeding in the early game. Same with Yasuo, but Akali brings it to a whole new level with that 5-0.
Yeah, so when you look at the game itself, mid turret falls down, bottom lane turret falls down. However, the top lane turret is still very healthy.
Yeah, the top lane is actually winning, I believe, in those trades compared to the Gwen right here.
And now wants to go for the solo kill.
Yeah.
He is trying to get his Mega now. Gwen.
He gets the Mega, now he needs to pop it soon. He gets it off, he gets that extra HP, but look at the amount of armor shred that Gwen can provide. Just slices your health down.
That Gwen played that matchup to perfection. Using the W just away from the Gnar, prevents stun coming from the Gnar, and gets the solo kill against the Gnar. So that was just very good coming from Broken. And NYP just looking to just snowball the game off from the laning prowess of all their laners itself, especially on Huang Yeji.
Yeah, but I need to commend their, their jungler. Every time their laner dies, he's always there to catch the wave.
Definitely true, I agree, but he is at least 40 CS down. It means that that's about 10 jungle camps down in terms of pressure. Now, top lane TPing into the top side, and as
Another solo
Velte,
kill. Velte, what are you doing there?
I'm not sure what's going on in the mid lane. I think it's just having a bad day. Let's just put it there.
Maybe it's not even his champion. And look, I think that should be a solo kill as the backup from Kalista comes. The Zenith Blade misses the Echo.
Yeah, and then I'm still surprised you don't see the Dark Seal here, right? You want to see the Magi, early Magi for the Huang Yeji because he's just able to really pop off and get the free 125 AP that he needs. But he's still not getting it, so unlucky.
Yeah. And look, even from the early game, the Akali actually hasn't used those 2 red pots.
Yeah, I think just sell it and get the Dark Seal. Come on, do it for the guys on the crew.
Yep, that Dark Seal should be able to help the Akali a lot. I mean, you're going 6-0. How bad can that even help?
Right now, Kali at the top lane, he wants to dive this Gnar.
Yeah. But the Mega Na gets chain seed and you can't do much. You maybe get a 1-for-1. Ooh. But the Kalista out saves the Leona once again. And while we're talking, the bottom lane and jungle are fighting.
What a flash!
You flashed into the guy's auto attack.
And look at Melee right now, Rengar onto Esvelte. No, Esvelte, you're not gonna die like this.
It's always like this, Maybe now then the Fiora realizes that Zavalte realizes, yeah, I have a parry, I could use that. Tried to negate some of the Rengar's damage.
This game is really just going a little bit out of control. More than 13,000 gold in favor of NYP, and they try to get bottom lane Gwen, but Gwen is just solo killing all of them.
Yeah, but I think she gets charmed. You should be able to get this kill, and Rakan's forced to use the flash, and look at that out usage. There's nothing you can do. That was an actually close one. And
yes, I think they're trying to speed run this game. 16 minutes, they're already hit it.
yeah.
Oh!
Ooh, that's a nice ulti from the side of Hong AG there.
So Nick, what do you think of the game?
I think you can bring this to reference to, a pro game like Fnatic versus Vitality, where one side is just getting stormed because of the jungle and their mid. It really feels like that.
I think this is a little bit too far-fetched, right? When you think of the level of the game itself. When Vitality is actually a practiced professional team, but this is newcomers, right? They've never really compete in a professional game before yet. So it probably just the stage jitters, or probably just the competitive jitters that come to the players itself, not comfortable to it. Now we look at the game itself, it is 15,000 goal lead for NYP, 17 minutes into the game.
Yeah, 18-4, and maybe even a solo kill here again as he uses the parry early and should be able to secure the kill and get that big shutdown. It's a 1-for-1, but that shutdown really is much more favorable for ITC.
That was just unfortunate.
Oh, look at Ring, nearly just deletes your health and they get another shutdown. Zenith Blade goes in and they're all CC chained. What can you do? Oh, nice! Nice Gnar ulti there as everyone goes in, HP goes down, forced to go golden there. And the Echo is forced to go out. Mei goes in, but it falls to the hands of the Kalista there.
ITEC showing off a fight this game. 2 big shutdowns going over the side of ITE College East. One of them definitely went to the Yasuo, so that is very big for them. However, the lead is still 12,000 in favor of Nanyang Polytechnic. Still a very difficult game for them, for ITC to even claw back. They need more of these miracle fights.
Yup, and look, even the... Oh wow, that is actually smart. Using that teleport on that minion that's targeted allows that early cheat.
Oh no, Esvelte!
Oh, but look, you just got kill stolen by your Kalista.
But does it really matter who takes the kills, right? Because there's no Dark Seal on the Akali, there's no Magi's on anyone else, so it doesn't matter who takes it. But, hold up. Akali actually has Moby Boots.
I think she wants to roam and get faster into the fights.
Yeah, probably, right? And now the game, 90 minutes the game, they're starting the Herald in the mid lane, they are looking for the end.
Yup, there's no way ITC wins this. So, I think really ITC, their mid laner not playing a confirm. Ooh, they go in, the stun, the root, all members getting CC'd. Now, actually, the Fiora gets the shutdown. Now 4v3. Everyone's health is going low for the start of Nanyang Poly. IT could actually contest this, but the Kalista's E pulls away your HP from that Gnar. That's a really bad trade, as your Fiora really doesn't play that mid lane well.
As Delta just dashed in trying to save the third, but he dies by himself. It is the last defense from ITCE.
Yeah, but no one's crying about the Gwen, as the Gwen is just cutting away the HP of the tower.
Yasuo falls down as well. Echo unable to do anything, and it is game over. Nanyang Polytechnic takes the game over IT Colleges.
Yeah. And then now Nanyang Poly puts themselves in a much safer place with that 2-0 win. And hopefully next week, they bring it 3-0 and have their safe spot.
Yeah, it feels like we didn't really see anything from Nanyang Polytechnic in general. Just a game of lane prowess, right? Just winning through the lane itself, not really having to show any of their team comps or any important draft or pick and bans that they have prepared for the tournament itself. So Nanyang Polytechnic really just dominating IT Colleges just from the laning itself. And even you see some memes like you see the Mobi boots on Akali. Who builds the Mobi boots on Akali, right? Yeah. So just IT College is just kind of gets destroyed through the laning process. However, I do commend IT Colleges because they did show up and try to get the game to stabilize a bit, but the lead was just too much for them to overcome.
Yeah, maybe it's because they are mid laner, maybe not playing a comfort champion. The Fiora is something you don't usually play in the mid lane, so maybe a comfort champion for the mid laner would do well.
Indeed, and I think it's just probably because he's maybe having a bad day, he's not performing, or maybe having some nervousness in his second game of the competition, not used to the competitive scene yet. So he has to really step up. If not, IT College will not be able to qualify for the competition itself. They still have 4 games left, so it's still a long time to go, but he needs to really step up because that is just too big of a lead in the mid lane for the enemy.
Yep, they need to either win the next 3 games or they're basically gone.
Yes, they need to at least win the next game, right? Because if they don't start winning, then the chances of you qualifying for the top 8 will be even lesser. But for Nanyang Polytechnic, they are holding the first spot in Group B. So right now we'll be going for a break. And the next game coming up, it is NUS versus SUTD. Stay tuned.
A lot of my painting is about movement. I really gravitated to the circle, and from the circle came the atom. It's like the center of everything, the universe, our biology, all of it. The atom is constantly in motion. We're introducing activewear. It's the best way I can represent with Uniqlo.
Alright, welcome back guys. Welcome to Campus Legend 2021 Week 2 of League of Legends. So I've seen just now like the tournament between IT, College East as well as Nanyang Poly. It was pretty one-sided, I would say, right? So have you guys gotten your predictions correctly? Remember to comment down below, yeah? Comment down below, and we are giving away Legion's keyboard and mouse. And remember the hashtag Legion, and as well as comment why the team you predicted should win. Right, so don't go away. We'll pick the winner at the end of the stream. And of course, coming up next, who do we have? We have SUTD versus NUS. So of course, remember to keep your predictions coming. Comment down below. Keep your comments coming. I do see a lot of people, talking in the Twitch chat. I will engage with you later. I will keep looking at the chat, so later I'll actually have a chat with you guys, right? So talking about this schools and like this Campus Legend, we actually, this is the first time we're actually having like a private institution that's in collaboration with us. So this school is Kaplan and Murdoch University. I mean, you can tell, right, with this koala bear that I'm holding since like the opening just now. So this koala bear is a very cute thing. So they're actually very supportive with regards to esports and education. So they actually have an open house also, like online open house, of course, due to the pandemic, right? So it's happening on the 5th July all the way to the 10th of July. You can head out to their website to actually see more details. They do have courses also that is gaming related, esports related. If you guys are interested, do check them out, yeah. And of course, before we move on to the game, remember your predictions. Type in below in the comments which team you think will win, which school you think you will win, and why do you think they will win, and as well as hashtag Legend. The winner will get to walk away with a keyboard as well as a mouse, and we'll be cheering on you. So let the game between SUTD and NUS begin. Casters.
Thank you again, Jolene Pop, for passing it back to us. And Gopsty, we saw NYP versus ITCE. That was a one-sided game. But what are we anticipating for SUTD versus NUS?
In SUTD versus NUS, this should be a very close match. Both of them have played in the Inter-Varsity Gaming Festival, and SUTD came out on top. So NUS here may look for a revenge game against SUTD.
Yes, I was unfortunately one of the players under the NUS roster that lost to SUTD in the Inter-Varsity Gaming Festival 3 weeks ago. So I wanted to be in this game, to kind of get my revenge against them, but I'll pass it over to my friend there, Kimothy. He will be playing at top lane. So I'm here rooting for NUS, but at the same time, I have to look at it at a neutral standpoint, right? I cannot be too biased and say that, NUS, I will probably 1-0 them lah. But I cannot say that. So I have to be very, impartial about it.
Yeah, for me, I think I just will side the side that, has the very nice champions. I just like the champions more.
I probably want to see another Yasuo game. Who knows, right? But talking about this matchup itself, we look at SUTD, IVGF first place, right? And then they come over to Campus Legends. They lost the week 1 against Temasek Polytechnic. One was also another tournament favorite because they were the runner-ups last year. But coming to week 2, they are looking for the bounce back. They have to win this game. If not, they are 2-0 down in the group brackets. It means that they have to go for the 4-win game streak if they are able to qualify in a comfortable position. NES, on the other hand, this is their revenge, right? They lost 0-2 to SUTD in the IVGF loser bracket finals. So now if they win here, the revenge settled, as well as they are securing the position for the qualifying spot.
Yeah, revenge will feel very sweet for you, especially, you feel you lost to them in the Inter-Varsity Gaming Festival, but here, anything goes, right, in Campus Legends.
Yeah, so while we wait for pick and bans to start, we just want to mention a little bit more in terms of what this matchup means, because NUS last week, they won 1-0 against ITCE, so they are holding the 1-0 spot. And going to week 2, if they win 1-0 against SUTD, that'll mean they'll be sharing the top spot with NYP, and that'll give them the momentum going to the remainder of the competition, right? Because for NUS, if they do win this matchup, as well as win a few more games going into the end of the group stage, that'll be the first time they'll qualify for the qualifiers after the group stage, right? So that is what they want. And that's what I hope NUS get, because I'm part of the team, so I want to, give them the moral support. But for SUTD, this is their first time competing in Campus Legend, a bigger tournament in general. So it's probably last week that they just came back from IVGF, still feeling a bit fresh, but a bit nervous also as well, because this is a big competition. So they're not really that ready yet. And last week after the game, I do think that SUTD have some weaknesses that NUS can look to exploit, but NUS definitely have their own weaknesses as well.
Yeah, those weaknesses will be pointed out in the game, but let's hope those flaws are kept to a minimum,
Indeed. So, just based on team name as well, right? You kind of think of like being the first place winner of IVGF, SUTD are the favorites. But let me give in some unique input, but I think NUS have the chance to kind of upset this game, because I have some secret strategy prepared for them, and they will be using this secret strategy here to perfection. I believe in my NUS team.
Who knows, maybe, let me a question, is it Ezreal mid?
Oh no, you will see the perfect pick and bans coming from NUS side. So while we do wait for this pick and bans to happen, I can't really share the pick and bans, right? Because who knows, SUTD players, they're actually listening to the cast. If I tell them now that, oh, they're gonna ban this champion, then like, oh, we have to prepare our draft a little bit differently. So, we can't really do that. But, all I can say is they've prepared hard for the past week under my guidance, as well as my other crew members, as well as my team. So all of them have been working hard. We just think that there's a chance for this to work. But I know SUTD, just in general, we never ever had a good results with them, because they just are a very strong team. But I know we have some unique strategies prepared just to counter this very strong team.
Yep. So counter-stratting is part of the plan for NUS. SUTD should be, going into this game thinking that it should be a pretty easy matchup, since they won you 2-0. But since I believe you're not playing and your friend Kimati is playing, we should be able to see a different outcome for this game.
Yeah, so this game, just in general, how I feel the game will be, it's a very more team fight centric teams in general. NUS as well as SUTD, they both love to team fight. So looking at how the team goes, I want to see more of champions, of how they'll look to use champions that is able to have an impact in team fights. So we'll probably see, like, for example, for the mid laner who's going to be playing later, Legend, he is more of those majors with the Ignite. He loves to take the Ignite in the mid lane, whereas for NUS side, the mid laner, Grass Grower, he's more of a teleport player. So it's just how stylistically these two players are different, and the focus will be definitely on the mid lane, because the mid lane, again, so important. We saw it in NYP versus IT College East. Once the mid lane gets too gapped, there's no coming back.
Yeah, let's hope there's no, gaps in the lanes, nor even in the jungle. And let's hope the communication is everywhere in the team.
Yes, and that's the most important thing right now, right? Because when you think about communications, you think about how team plays, the center point is the mid lane. Once the mid lane is stabilized, then you can look at the side lanes, the bottom lane as well as the top lane. Because the mid lane enables the other lanes to play how they want. And the jungle is there to actually support it. So looking at NUS, it will be an uphill battle, because the mid lane will be a very stylistically different matchup. But with my secret training, I think they can pull it off.
Alright. Hopefully, the game should be able to start soon. And, you talk about team fights. I want to see a Nico being played. She can change the team fight with that 5-man stun of hers.
Oh.
With that big radius, especially in the reverse. It's impossible to not get hit by that.
Well, talking about Nico, you might be just in luck, because Legend plays the Nico. And unfortunately as well, in the IVGF loser bracket finals, he did play 2 games of Nico, and we lost to his Nico as well. So, memories. That's not how you want to do this to me, man. You're supposed to be my buddy here casting with me. You're not supposed to give me those trauma flashbacks,
I didn't know, man.
Yeah, but avoid the Nico, please. I don't want to see the Nico. Can probably just go for those like standard champions like the Victor, the Ari, or even Xerath, because he is a very good Xerath player, right? But just no Nico. It's just too traumatizing.
We may even see an Orianna, Her Shockwave allows for that team fight potential as well.
Well, the Orianna, I think he did pull off some Orianna games in recent times, but I don't think that's one of his comfort champs. He definitely can pilot the champion, but you probably expect him to go more of his comfort champs. Those things like his Diana. Oh, dude, his Diana is insane. Chef kiss.
So Diana, if let's say he brings it out, her out allows for that big team fight potential like Oriana, Nico, Leona, those outs that change team fights.
Indeed. So he has a lot of team fight champions, and that's how just SUTD plays in general, right? But one of the star players of SUTD is definitely the AD carry, and I think the AD carry here is one of the best, not say best AD carry in the tournament, but when in IVGF, he's one of the most aggressive AD carries you can find around. He plays the lane very aggressively, and I think SUTD in general, they like to play through the bottom side of the map because the mid lane always kind of gets its own lead through the mid lane, and then it just snowballs the game because the mid lane just goes to the bottom lane. So the SUTD AD carry, definitely a lot of pressure on him. I think last week he went 11-4, but he didn't manage to carry his team over the finish line because Master Polytechnic was just a stronger opponent.
Yep.
Alright, I think also just talking in general about how SUTD want to play, definitely the bottom side. So top lane will be an island, but however, I believe there is certain technical difficulties right now. So we will be going for another short break, so stay tuned.
Bye bye.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are now straight into pick and bans between SUTD and NUS, and instantly SUTD banning out the Camille.
And NUS banning out the set. I think the set ban really is interesting. You know, in the team fights, take that, and then you take the front line, put him back into the back line of your team. Gonna be fun to watch.
Now SUTD also banning out the Jace, and NUS instantly banning out the Ilaoi. Secret draft prepared. Told you so.
You know, Ilaoi not something you pick, but I guess it's a certain ban towards SUTD side.
Yes, and SUTD banning out the Rumble here, so NUS probably might look for another ban, and we see the Wukong ban coming in. It is all three top lane bans, and this is what I think NUS have prepared in how to play against SUTD. So Ezreal being instantly locked in for SUTD side.
Yeah, I think in Ezreal, you know, SUTD maybe playing it in middle or ADC, especially if you're aggressive AD carry. And NUS locking in the Gwen and Karma.
Yeah, so Gwen right now is being able to flex in both the top lane as well as the mid lane, and probably sometimes the jungle, right? But we do expect it to be a laner more than the jungle because of how weak he is in general in terms of the gank potential. But his clear speed is still relatively fast. But he doesn't have the CC to help gank. So I do expect Kimati as well, or maybe even Grass Grower to pilot the Gwen. But the Karma, a very good takeaway from the start of SUTD because Karma Ezreal is just too oppressive for lane.
And then now look at the Setna. I think the Setna pick pretty interesting from SUTD. Maybe even going tank Setna, you know?
Yes, so right now the Senna Death has a new build, which is the Divine Thunder build, right? And that build has been really working very well because of the nerfs to Frostfire. But both now, with both bottom lane being picked by SUTD, I think they might looking for the jungle and looking to lock in the pick, but no, they go for the Jax instead. And Jax probably going to the top lane.
You know, it's either the Jax in top or the jungle, you know. The flexibility of Jax allows for SUTD to play both top and jungle with that Jax.
Yes, and this Jax pick comes in very unique because we don't really see Jax being played so much in competitive, even solo queue lately because of Jax, how bad Jax is right now in the current state. But it just highlights that how Pretentious probably taking the Jax is very comfortable in the champion that he thinks is able to beat out whoever's playing in the top lane. So now on NUS, they are banning out the Seraphine for the second ban phase. I like it because we talk about how SUTD are a team fight team, and they in general like to play champions. They have a lot of team fight potential.
Yeah, I love the Nocturne pick from NUS. The team fight potential that Nocturne provides. You turn off the lights and then they can't see anything. You basically a kind of communications for them.
Yes, and when you look at how NUS is drafting so far, right, you don't really have an idea where each champion is going yet.
Yeah.
Because every champion is flexible. Nocturne, a triple flex. Karma, double flex, maybe even a triple flex as well. And Gwen being able to be flexed in both the top and the mid lane. There's no certainty which champion is going where. But SUTD's draft, however, have the flex as well. Ezreal able to flex in the mid as well as the AD carry position. Jax, the jungle in the top. So there's still no certainty yet. But we have a rough idea of where each champions are roughly going now.
Yep, and NUS banning out the Victor. I wonder what SUTD will ban to answer this. And they pick out the Kaisa.
Yeah, so Kaisa is a staple pick for NUS. I love Kaisa in general, right? So I always encourage the use of Kaisa in game stuff. But now NUS locking in the Varus against the Ezreal, I think this is a very good draft in general because Varus has a longer range than Ezreal, but Ezreal early game still able to survive the onslaught from the Varus.
Yeah, and you think that Varus, you need someone with CC to proc that passive, such that you can allow for that 3-stack pop with that Q ability. Snipe out the Ezreal even at half health.
Yes, now SUTD locking in that Udyr, so it won't be the Jax jungle, it will be the Jax top lane, Udyr in jungle.
Yup, I wonder what would their mid be if this is everything.
I expect him to go for probably something like a Dyna, maybe even the Xerath or the Ahri, his comfort champ. So we talk about how the mid lane is always the one getting the leads in his lane, and from the lead, he snowballs the bottom lane. And knowing that SUTD picked Jax in the top lane, I do expect them
Nico!
to go...
Let's go!
No, not the Nico. Oh, my heart hurts so hard. But yes, again, SUTD with the teamfight comp, Nico again, picked again against NUS. I think this is like a NUS curse, right? Nico into NUS is like the ultimate counter to NUS in general.
You know, I personally love the Nico pick because I am a one-trick pony for Nico. I love the puns you can do with her.
Oh, and NUS looks to lock in the Xerath last, and Xerath being... will it be a Zeref mid? Oh yes, it's a Zeref mid and a Karma support. So I like the draft coming from both teams. SUTD going for the standard team fight com with the Nico in the mid lane, and then Jack's gonna be the only split pusher in the side of SUTD. NUS, however, they have a full dive poke com because you have the Zeref, you have the Karma, you have the Varus, and then you have the Gwen and the Nocturne to create the zone to prevent SUTD from charging in.
Yeah, and with them stopping them charging in, but that Nico, that ulti, you really Nico need to stay away from her.
Oh no, not the meme. But whether the Nico can Nico knee inside, that's a different question, right?
Yep.
Because with the zone control that NUS has, it's a bit difficult for SUTD to actually try to walk in. But NUS, however, they can't be the one walking into the Nico because they can get Nico need by Nico.
And no one likes to, get their Nico kneecaps broken by just a Nico.
Yeah, so we kind of highlighted this before the break that the players to watch are the mid lane because whether Legend is able to get his own lead from the mid lane and then snowball it to the bottom side is how the matchup will work. But for the NUS side, something to really focus on is on Kimothy in the top lane, right? Because he is playing the Gwen, and we saw how Gwen is just currently so strong in the meta that there's very little counters to Gwen in general. So usually in competitive scene, where you see how Gwen is always either picked or banned in the first phase. And SCTD not banning out the Gwen just kind of tells me that they are comfortable going against Gwen, or probably that they haven't really played enough Gwen yet, or maybe enough good Gwens yet, that they don't find it a threat into the team comp.
Yep. And talking about those champs that are strong, we haven't really seen a Viego being picked in this week.
And I think in general, Viego is still very coin flippy in general because although he is a very strong laner, or even the jungler itself, but he is still very squishy, and it's all about timing and execution. And I think when you think about it in the highest level of play, where professional players are playing, Viego in general is able to last longer because of how well they are the champion. But right now we're looking at the campus legend side. The players are not really say professional level yet, right? So they're not that comfortable playing passive. They're not comfortable playing very controlled style of play. It's still a very solo queue-ish, but in a more coordinated environment. That's how I describe it.
Yeah,
So I don't think Viego will be seen much, maybe unless the players have been spamming Viego so much in solo queue that they are ready to pull it out.
Yeah, I really would like to see a Viego. Once you get that reset, you pop that out, boom, you get another reset, you pop the out again, you just push the players back and back.
Indeed, and looking at this game itself, NUS SUTD, this is my team itself. I have to support NUS, but I also like SUTD's draft in general because it's how they play, and it's how they've been playing throughout the entire IVGF. So I'm really very excited to see how SUTD is able to get the win again over NUS, but my heart is always for NUS.
Yeah, and then for me, I love the Nico. I'm going to support SUTD for this game because you can go Nico, Ni. Why not? So it should be a fun time to see who should emerge as the victor.
So what made you actually like Nico, because there's so many champions to play, right? Why Nico?
For me, I watch anime, so there's this certain character named Nico. The one that does the Nico Ni. So then...
okay.
Yeah, so in League, there's Nico. So it made me feel like, she's interesting enough to the point where, I want to main her. She has CC, she has that magic damage, and she has that big ulti that you can make plays with.
I see, and talking about Nico itself, I've been a Nico player for a while as well, probably when it came out, but it kind of fall down the meta, right? But Nico is still definitely a very strong champion, and when you can get that wonderful route coming in with you manage to hook someone through minions or even multiple players in a row, the extra duration of CC is just very, very good, and you can stack it up with your ulti. That's 100% a sure kill, and since Nico is such a niche pick, right? Not many players are playing Nico now. It comes down to whether other players aware of what Nico's ability can do. Can the players stock it out, make sure that they don't walk into the line? And NUS, it's up to them to really show whether they are comfortable going against a Nico or not. And losing 0-2 to Nikos in IVGF, let's not go for the third one, right?
Yeah. It's just that the route that Nico provides, it feels like you're not prepared for that, It feels like an Anivia Q, or is that Zyra route. That type of CC that just goes through minions. It's easy to predict, but it's hard when you're doing something else already.
Indeed. So not talking about Nico, we look also at the bottom lane because we talked about how Lonely Soul, he is the AD carry for SUTD, and he is also the second pressure point of SUTD, first one being the mid laner. Looking at Ezreal Senna versus the Varus Karma, what are the thoughts on the lane?
I think really the bottom lane, if they are aggressive and daring enough, I think SUTD may even came out the victor here, because the Varus and the Karma, you don't really have that CC to lock down the Ezreal or the Setna even, both AD champions as well.
So looking at the game right now, SUTD on the blue side and on the red side, NUS. I think the NUS team comp is relatively simple. Get the Gwen a hit slightly, and probably look to leave Gwen on an island because SUTD is going to play through the bottom side. So NUS are looking to maybe hover through the bottom side and make sure that SUTD doesn't really punish the bottom lane too much. However, I do believe that NUS has a chance in this game. And look at the draft, I think both drafts are relatively even. However, I would still favor SUTD's draft a little bit more because of how easy it is to execute.
Yeah, I really think that the Nico into the Nocturne is a really good pick. Even though SUTD goes blind, the Nico out just pushes away the amount of members that NUS can teamfight with.
Yes, but something to notice is how the Nocturne as well as the Zeref interaction works. Because you don't know where Zeref is shooting from, but it kind of gives you the idea of where the Zeref... It denies you the idea of where Zeref was shooting from, so it's very difficult to actually watch the map. And you can see the circle around you, whether the Zeref is shooting you or not. That's very difficult.
Level 1 cheese, but you know, you start that E, you get that... You change the cheese against the Gwen, so I guess it's a little skirmish up there.
And look at top lane, Kimberly going aggressive onto the Gwen, getting the next auto attack as well. Good start coming in from the top side.
Yeah, you force the Gwen to use that pot, and then you still have your corruption pot still available, you know.
Yeah, but this gives the priority to the lane over to the Gwen, so seeing how Kimberly playing very aggressively in the top side, I think that's what NUS wanted to do this game. And on the bottom side, it just depends on whether who can get the shove in first, right?
Who can get that level 2 and get that engage on, that is what they're looking for. And off the bat, you look at the amount of damage that Karma provides in that level 1 against the Setna.
Yeah, so this lane will depend on who is able to get the pokes much more onto the enemy AD carry and or even the support and start shoving the lane back into their favor. Mid lane looks like it's relatively even, so I expect what's going on, but here's the bottom lane trade.
Ooh, maybe even a kill right here as they pop the heal, and that's the first blood for the Ezreal. And now they're on the pursuit for even the second kill.
Yes, we talk about how SUTD, they are the more aggressive bottom lane, so they get the first blood in the bottom side, and it goes over to the Ezreal, so we will actually snowball the Ezreal a little bit.
Yeah, and now both bottom lanes are equal in sum, so I think it depends on whose skill is much better, you know. And then your Gwen just goes for an invade against a level 3 Udyr.
Yes, this denies the Udyr of his blue buff, and looks like NUS wants to steal the blue, but Nico is now moving over.
Yeah, you know, Nico can change characters, so it's hard to identify really whether who is the real Udyr, you know, or who is the real top laner.
Definitely, but NUS, although they get the invade over, they did not get nothing. They didn't get nothing much.
Even a solo kill maybe for Nico, but look at that sliver of health for the Zeref. And now Nocturne, maybe even looking to want to catch that wave.
That was unfortunate for Legend. He didn't get the last auto attack. He did use his flash, however, so mid lane flashes for both SUTD and NUS. So we do probably want to see the jungle impacting this lane more. And from then, we'll see how NUS or SUTD is able to use the mid lane pressure and probably affect bottom lane more, because right now the bottom lane is still in favor of SUTD because Ezreal got the first blood.
Yep. Once Ezreal has that first blood, he may even snowball that lead with that Sheen of his.
And now look at top lane, a very big wave is being shoved in. And this is actually favorable for the side of NUS because Kimberly is able to take up the big wave, and then he's able to go with a big lead, and then probably look to shove the lane, and then go for a good reset. And the Jax resets for the Doran Blade as well as the control ward. So not a very good back coming in from the Jax.
Yeah, I think really the top lane, I think NUS should be able to win this one, especially with the ganks that the Nocturne should be able to provide.
Yes, and looking at items as well, we see Ezreal already buying his Shin instead of the Tear. I really like the Shin buy in general because it gives you the more damage, right? The more pressure that you need to exert as the Ezreal Senna. And already, ever since winning the first blood, he is controlling the bottom side of the lane. So, SUTD right now, they have 2 winning lanes, but whether they can increase the lead even further so that they are in a more comfortable position, I want to see how SUTD does that.
Yep. I love how Nico has to be played in the mid. It allows for those easy trades, you know. When you walk up for CS, Nico just punishes you with that root EQ combo. then half your HP just disappears.
Yes, but something about Zeref is more like Zeref has the long range, right? It allows him to actually not be poked out by Nico. But I think what happened was the Nico managed to get a good flash E and caught the Zeref a little bit off
Oh,
guard.
look
And
at that! The EQ combo just cuts away your health of half of your HP.
Indeed, Legend really just showing that he is comfortable on this Nico pick and he's willing to go it blind against NUS.
And because of the long range of Zeref, I love how the Nico is playing passively as well.
Now, it is a 1000 gold lead in favor of SUTD. Most of it coming in from actually the bottom side, right? Because the first blood as well as the 10 CS lead and Senna's stacks as well just give NUS the not really the lead they want in bottom lane, but it's more like they're kind of behind. But Nocturne just finally takes his red buff, top lane being trading.
Ooh, big stun there, but Kimothy is ready to turn it back. He's half HP, but that Q's heal and that ignite should be enough. Look at that damage. And Pretentious survives actually. And now look, both junglers on the top side and both top laners are low. Chica may be able to get this one off, but I think he gets spotted as look, the Nocturne lands a good Q, but they turn the fight over to the Nocturne.
Yes, Chica's right now trying to get the wave in because
Oh, he flashes stun him and then try to go in, but that W won't be able to save you as both both jungler and top kills your top laner as NUS.
that was a little bit overstaying there by the side of NUS.
Oh.
And look at Legend here, he's trying to catch the no chat on off guard here.
He may be able to get him though. Look, Pretentious has set it up. He lands the Q. Ooh, forces the flash and gets. Look at that third auto attack passive. Just it's a laser beam towards you.
Yes, NUS right now they are 3 kills down. 2000 gold lead in favor of SUTD. This is not the start NUS wanted.
But NUS has I believe the winning bottom lane with that poke that Varus provides. And you know we've seen Reckless on the Varus before, but let's see if he will go to the Lethality Varus, you know?
I mean, you're definitely looking at Lethality Varus, right? He is building the tier of the goddess. He's going for the Muramana, and probably whether it is the Prowler Claw or it is the Dust Blade, it depends on how they want to play it. But now, NUS, they are playing really very aggressively in the bottom side. Karma as well as Varus versus the Ezreal and Senna. It seems that after the first blood, it has been in favor of NUS bottom side. Yeah.
Roughly after the first blood. So you win those trades as NUS and then you go for that all-in dive on that bot lane. So, and while we're doing that, we may even see a dragon fight happen. But I don't think Cheekers actually know about this and no chat should be able to get this for free.
Yes.
But look at the bottom lane, they're going for a gank. Forces the heal off, misses the root. Now Cheekers going for the dragon. It is a dragon fight. Who can smite it first is the winner. And ooh, the Udyr steals it away from NUS and now they have full control of the river. Now they forces the remaining members of NUS off the river, but it is the first dragon, you know. It's like the Infinity Stones. You only have one, but you need all 4 to be good.
Oh, look at
that
Nico.
EQ stun combo and now you're just gone. You force the heal, you force the flash off and you can't even secure the kill. You may even lose because of the tower there, but I love the Nico combo if you don't even have vision there.
The Nico flash was a little bit short. If he had waited to go with terrain to flash instead, he probably would get the last auto attack on the Zeref and that would be a solo kill onto the Nico against the Zeref. And that is how SUTD plays, just through lane proud itself, right?
True shot barrage comes through and gets the kill onto the Karma. I think that was a bit, you know, early for that recall over there.
Yeah, I don't know whether he's recalling or he actually was getting rooted by Senna's W, but it's just SUTD just playing the lane to perfection, and Jax even gets a solo kill onto the Gwen. This is not how NUS expects this game to work out.
Now, maybe your secret strategy isn't going as well as it's supposed to.
Maybe a little bit, but I think the draft itself was fine. Just maybe a little bit over aggressiveness coming from both sides, but I think NUS still has a chance. I believe in this secret strategy that we have drafted for them.
You know, I love how the jungle already has started invading and started to build that Mercury threats. I think the CC that NUS has won't be able to stop that Udyr from running you down.
Yes. Right now, NUS just need to look to stabilize the game a little bit and be able to farm right now because they are 4,000 gold behind going 10 minutes into the game. They just need to be able to stabilize it such that they don't fall even further behind because the later game goes, the more pokes they are able to do, the more team fight they can deny. However, they need to look to get the early dragons because if not, it goes for the early Elder Soul, and that's not how they want to
look
go.
at that EQ combo again onto that Xerath. And here comes the Nocturne onto the Nico itself. Xerath out. This is what you'll be talking about. The Nocturne out, and then Xerath, you don't know where he's shooting from.
Yes, and that is what we wanted to see from NUS, using the level 6 ulti from the Nocturne with the Xerath combo. That's the combination that we want to see, and you look at it, it's so effective. It's just unfortunate that Xerath got caught a bit, so he wasn't able to be there for the full fight. But in general, that's how the combo works. And there is a Varus as well, so all the pokes are there to really just dish out the damage, but it's just whether NUS is able to survive to the point where they are able to start doing the damage.
And look, Ezreal has already completed Divine Thunderer and the TP onto the top lane from Nico. So could be a TP wasted actually, as they just disengage that fight easily.
Talking about the teleport from Legend, right? I've never really seen him use the teleport because he is the Ignite player. So I'm actually honestly a little bit surprised he actually opted in for the teleport, because I don't think he can. He don't think he can kill Xerath soul kill a few times. But imagine those soul kills just now where he almost soul killed Xerath twice, or even thrice, right? If he had taken Ignite, that would have been 3 solo kills by the Nico onto the Xerath.
Yeah, but I think the Nico is playing a bit for the team fight, you know. He's waiting for the opportunity to TP in, go invisible, and then pop that out on that 5-man.
Yes, and although the Jax, he is 20 CS down, he is 1 kill up. And here, look at top side.
He gets the stun. He may even get a solo kill right here. He gets the kill. Look at that damage. It's not enough. That was a very close fight on the top side.
Yes, Kimberty misses his final kill that allows the Jax to just hit home with the last auto attack, and SUTD just getting the lead everywhere and bottom side.
Lane. You use the ult from Varus to save your life, but to save the Karmas, and now your Karma is getting dived. But I guess there's Nocturne and the TP coming in. This should be an even fight as the Karma goes down for early. Saves with a sliver of health as the Nocturne comes in, gets the kill onto the Udyr for the Xerath. And now look, Xerath uses the ult and gets free poke from the Ezreal there.
Oh, but they are not able to push in.
Yeah, the Nico is now on the tower. And look at your Xerath, it's low on HP and the Ezreal will be able to get the kill. Now Nocturne out has been used just to play a bit of time, just to maybe close that gap on that set now that he is chasing so desperately.
Yes, and this, although I think that SUTD won in general, NUS managed to get some shutdowns over to their side. So it's still not too bad for the side of NUS, but that fight could have worked out way better. And looking at the item itself, Ezreal, 5-0 with the Divine Thunder. He probably is going back for his Muramana as well. This Ezreal is way ahead of the curve.
Yeah, it's you know, Ezreal, one of the champions, but he is an ADC. He has that arcane shift to get away, but he is an ADC, especially in the 2021 meta where ADCs, despite you going 10-0, you can still get killed by that 0-10 Yasuo in mid lane for some reason.
In the changes to the Divine Thunder, as well as probably even items such as Frozen Heart, those are the big changes which allows Ezreal to come back into the meta currently. That is how you expect the Ezreal to build. So he is right now way ahead of the curve. He's able to dish out a big amount of damages. And looking at how NUS want to play right now, they do have the Herald, so they are looking to posture around the mid side. Probably use the Herald to get the Dragon, and they are looking to collapse onto the Udyr.
Yeah, but look at that root away. Forces the spell shield away from the Nocturne there, so it could be crucial in this team fight.
Yes, NUS looking to get the Dragon here. They are bringing all 5 members down, so Jax is having his own time at the top side. However, they are poking out Lonely Soul in the bottom side.
And but look on the flank. Nico is on the flank and Udyr gets the first kill. Now,
and Udyr gets the Dragon!
Yeah, it's amazing how, you know, NUS starts it and then Udyr gets it. And look, they turn the fight around and now it's a 3v3.
However, it is still a 2-for-2 in favor of both. None of the teams actually get a lead. And that is a double kill going with the side of, I think it was Chickers, I believe. And Lonely Soul getting the final kill onto Kimberty. So all in all, SUTD with the big win in the Dragon fight.
Yeah, I loved how the Nico managed to survive there with a sliver of health and using that honey fruit to go back into lane and get that CS. She uses the flash to get away, and she uses the clone to trick the opponents, you know.
Yeah, and now right now NUS, they are 9,000 gold behind, 8,000 gold behind, 15 minutes into the game. This is not where NUS wants to be at this point of time.
Especially when now your Jax is now invading you, things are not looking good for the side of NUS.
Yes, and right now, even every lane right now is falling behind in terms of CS, in terms of kills. Maybe the only saving grace is that Xerath in the mid lane is really just slightly ahead. And look at top lane.
Oh, look at the level gap, and now even Pretentious will just get a solo kill onto you.
That is just unfortunate. Kimothy dashing forward and not respecting that the Jax could have been there. And so another solo kill going over to the Jax. Top lane is no longer the island that Kimothy can hold by himself.
I think the Wit's Edge build from the Jax, pretty interesting.
Well, I feel that the Wit's End build was very smart coming in from Pretentious because Gwen does so much AP damage, right? So building the Wit's End gives you the attack speed as well as the damage you require. And look here, he's just killing the Nocturne.
Yeah, he uses the fear, but it won't be enough as he just jumps back onto you, even though you fear him.
Yes, Pretentious just making Jax look like it's a viable champion in the current meta because of the build. But he is just solo killing both Gwen as well as the Nocturne. And US right now just not respecting this Jax pick.
Yup. It looks like, you know, the poke from Xerath may be coming in. I love that Nocturne out combo. We saw it used once, let's see it again in another team fight, you know.
And US right now, they are about 10,000 gold down, 16 minutes to the game. They just need to look to probably get some CS into their carries, into all the poke champions they have, because that's probably the only way they're coming back from this. SUTD on the other hand, they just want to keep snowing the game because right now they are in an advantageous position.
You land the stun onto the Nico, but it's not enough damage, you know, compared to the Nico's EQ combo. So shot barrage to clean the wave. Maybe get this even tier 2 tower on the mid.
Right now, all tier 1 turrets have fallen down for the side of NUS. SUTD right now, they are playing the map beautifully. They are moving around the map. They might look to get the second herald of the game because that's the only way they are able to use it to actually exert more pressure right now because no objectives are up. And NUS, I don't think they are going to look to fight for this herald because right now they just need to get the CS as well as the EXP onto the carries.
And then you look at the vision. You look at the amount of vision that SUTD has set up and the amount of pressure that Nico can provide against NUS right here.
Now, Herald being taken over by the side of SUTD, they probably want to save it for the next Dragon because usually you want to use the Herald to actually create the lane pressure with the Herald and then go for the Dragon uncontested. So, I think NUS right now, they just want to stabilize the game. I do think it will be a Cloud Soul because of how the map has changed to the Cloud terrain. So, it is not the worst Soul outcome for for NUS, so they can definitely fall back a little bit and be a bit more passive and just wait out for the correct moment where they can fight. But having the Cloud Soul is actually very useful for champions like Nico as well as Udyr because it gives the extra CDR in their kit for the ultis and the important combos that they need to line up. Now the Jax, however, he is 2 items up, whereas Kimothy is only 1 item. I don't think Kimothy is able to handle the Jax inside lanes.
Now, I really think that you need to play for those numbers advantage fights against SUTD here. And look at how this Nico is playing. I love how passive and she plays around the vision basically. You don't have the vision of the Nico, she pops that out, you just walk right into it. You are just, you know, a blind man crossing the road.
Yes, and NUS right now, they have no control over the jungle. SUT just walking over the jungle, taking even the blue buff as well away from the grass grower or NUS, the jungle as well. So NUS right now, they just need to find a way back. And I think it just boils down to how long they can hold the game to the point where the carries are starting to collect all the items. But as of now, SUTD is just too far ahead. Nearly 2 items or almost all the carries except for the mid laner.
I think really the mid lane may go for a early Magi's or even, you know, the stopwatch.
I mean, he definitely wants to go for those stopwatch, right? Because he's going in all in with his combo. So he wants to be able to have some safety kit inside of him. But we kind of mentioned about how mid lane is the focus point. But let's look at the game itself. It hasn't been the mid lane. It has been all about the AD carry. Lonely Soul has been popping off even without his mid lane roaming to bottom.
Yeah, it's scary how, you know, Lonely Soul at the bottom lane as an aggressive AD carry on the Ezreal applies so much pressure against the Varus or the Karma with even a longer range than Ezreal.
Yeah, so Lonely Soul is all up on him to really just close out the game beautifully with his teammates in SUTD and prevent Pretentious in the top lane using his Jax, getting his own lead as well. Now,
yeah, and look,
Kimothy
uses the ult with the help from Xerath. This may be a kill on the side for the side of NUS here. They're on the chase, but they can't be able to secure it. They forced the flash off the Jax, but not the teleport as of yet.
Yeah, so that was a win for the side of SUTD because they were able to draw out the flash from the Karma as well as take away an Ignite Summoner from Kimberty. So it prevents another fight coming in for at least 3 to 5 more minutes because they need the Summoners up to be able to kill the Jax. And SUTD right now is just moving into the jungle, taking everything away from NUS.
Yeah, there's really nothing you can do as the Nocturne. Look, you're 70 CS down nearly. What do you do?
I think right now NUS, they are kind of slipping away from what seems like to be a winnable game to become not winnable, but they still have the late game scaling. And it's not really the Infernal Soul that we're talking about, it is the Cloud Soul. So there is some chance that they can actually look to the Elder Dragon, maybe get the Elder Dragon steal, and from then turn around the game.
Yeah, you need to play for it for the long run, especially when you're this far behind. You need to play for those 1-for-1 trades for your AD carries, your carries of the game, to get those shutdowns.
Indeed, and look at the lane assignment as well. We see that there's 3-man stack in the mid lane, and Varus is just taking away the bottom lane farm. I think this is very smart from the side of NUS. They're just trying to allocate the resources optimally to all the carries. And SUTD, they are still in control of the game.
Oh, Nico may be caught out here. She uses the root and she gets the 2-man stun. Nocturne is coming in for the fight as they just end Nico's life there.
Yes, and it's just unfortunate that it wasn't any other carries, right? Because Nico is the only carry in the enemy team that doesn't have a bounty. So
Yeah.
if only there was a bounty into Nico, that would have been favorable for NUS. But a kill is still a kill nonetheless, and they got it 1 for nothing. So it is in favor of NUS. So SUTD right now, they just need to slowly look into the game and just look, maybe even bait the Baron out. And using the Baron, they can look to turn around the fight with their wombo combos.
And then you look at now, it seems like SUTD has 2 AD carries, you know, compared to Senna being the support. Despite her being the support, look at the amount of vision score that Nico has. 56 at 21 minutes, and being the mid laner especially.
So is Nico actually the mid laner or is he the support?
No one really knows. As look, now NUS is on the pursuit from the 3 members of SUTD. The Varus outlands, it won't be enough and they can't be able to follow up.
And so the poke damage coming from NUS is not to the point of where they want it to be yet. So it just needs to be scaled a little bit more. The items are coming in for NUS. However, SUTD right now, they are just scaling away with all the items. Look at Senna's item, however. It is the Frostfire build. The nerfed build is of what we talked about, the Divine Sandra build that has been more prominent in the current patch. But Frostfire build still works, although the slow as well as the output of the damage on Frostfire has been nerfed for the range carries.
I think this build that the Setna has provided allows for more frontline opportunities. You know, with the Frostfire, allows for that extra health, and her passive, the stacks that she can get, is enough to, you know, contest the fights.
Yeah, I think he goes for this build because he'll get poked out by the Team NUS a lot. So it just prevents him from dying too early because it gives the resistance, it gives the health, and it gives him the CC to allow to try and survive the onslaught from NUS. But the lane actually went in favor of SUTD, so he should have looked into another different build, probably go for the more aggressive build. But now SUTD, they look to start the Baron without NUS knowing.
You know, the amount of vision they set up before the Baron fight already proves that NUS really cannot contest this. Unless, you know, you steal it with some kind of ulti, but the Zeref already used this.
And look at NUS, they are making a play bottom side.
Oh look, Pretentious going in, he gets the stun, but it won't be enough as the Gwen just shuts him down immediately. But, you know, in response to that, SUTD gets the Baron.
Yes, Pretentious a little bit overextended, but trying to deny the Baron steal from NUS by trying to be the bait in the bottom side. I don't think he has to do that, but he gives the Baron over to the side of SUTD. 4 members having the Baron, this mid-tier tutor will definitely fall down.
You know, I think the Nico can go into an Ezreal and then, you know, trick out NUS right here. Oh, then you see the Nico again is getting chased again. He lands the 2-man stun, but he goes for the 3-man root and he gets that amount of damage off. The Nico won't be able to survive. Ooh, she survives barely with the amount of HP she has, and now Chickers goes in. Chickers won't be doing a lot as look, Lonely Rod secures the kill onto the Zeref. Now you don't have your artillery anymore and your TP is coming down mid lane. True Shot Barrage lands and he gets a double kill with that. Insane. He gets a triple even, and look, they're going in for the dive. They may even look for an end here.
Penta!
What
on
the hell?
Lonely Soul, the carry that we talked about in the Champion Select, how he is also one of the focal point of SUTD. Carries his team with the Penta Heal, and this is the end for NUS.
Yeah, the secret strategy really didn't go as you said it would. I think SUTD played, you know, the team fights better.
As it's not just about the team fight, it's all about the laning phase as well. How the laning actually impacts the team fight was what matters most, and that is how SUTD, using the laning prowess of their carries, gets the win over NUS, and this is what SUTD needed after the week 1 loss against NUS. TP.
You know, I love this fight. You really have to watch out for that Nico knee, and then what do you do after that? In this, you fed the carry too much in the ADC role, I believe.
Yeah, but it's not really about the Nico, right? Because when you look at the game or the overall score, the Nico really didn't do much. But it's all about the Ezreal, how accelerated he is in the game, and from the accelerated position he is, how much he is able to impact the game. And he just delivers with the Ezreal. This Ezreal pick was too little on him, and he definitely dealt the killing blow onto NUS. And NUS, although I believe that the draft was not, say, the perfect draft, but it was still a good draft to counter how SUTD wanted to play. But it just fell behind a little bit too early, and because it fell behind too fast, there was no way to come back.
And then, because of the Ezreal, you allow for the Nico to set up vision into your jungle, and then you allow the carries of SUTD to just go in and take your camps.
Yeah, so NUS, they did fall down in week 2. However, they will want to bounce back in week 3. So NUS will have to do their work. But SUTD, getting the win here is important for them because it starts back the winning momentum in order to qualify for the qualifying spots for the top 8.
Yeah. Now, I believe SUTD now has the one win, 1 loss situation.
Yeah.
So they should be able to go against the other teams in Group B to get this win.
Yeah, so SUTD, definitely I feel one of the group favorites to qualify, are back in the comfortable position to look for the qualification. But right up next, we will be having NTU versus Temasek Polytechnic. So stay tuned. We'll be taking a break.
Hello, welcome back guys, welcome back to Canvas Legend Week 2 game League of Legends. So just now we had a very crazy SUTD pentakill from the Israel that we did there. So I believe you guys I was looking at the comments just now, right, for the Twitch chat. I think most of you guys got like your predictions pretty well done. So hopefully later you will get to win this set. And of course we have this here. We have one more game happening later, and it's actually with NTU together with Temasek Poly. So with that, comment down below later. We actually have 5 minutes before the game start, right, for your prediction to happen. So you can actually comment down below which team you think will win, plus why they will win, and hashtag Legion to actually win this KM300 RGB gaming bundle of a keyboard and the mouse. There you go. Right, so before we start, right, I think you guys have been sitting down for quite a bit already. So I guess you guys can, stretch a bit here and there. I'm gonna do some stretching. And as you can see, I'm wearing pants, like long pants. For those of you that know me personally will know that Jolene Pop is actually like a shorts girl. I don't really wear pants that frequently, right? So all thanks to Uniqlo, I actually have this pair of very comfortable pants, and this pants is actually called the Woman Straight Pants. Of course, if you guys are interested to purchase, you can always scan this QR code. I think it should appear somewhere around here. You can scan this QR code, download the Uniqlo app, and from there, the first 1,000 people will actually get a $5 gift voucher. So you can actually purchase your favorite pants. Of course, this is the female version. The casters will be wearing like the male version. So you can actually see which one you prefer. You can buy it for your girlfriends, your family members as well. You can use the $5 voucher, plus we'll be giving away an Ariza mask. And of course, we will give 5 lucky winners, just 5, yeah? 5 lucky winners, a $100 gift voucher. If you download the app, you screenshot and send it over to Instagram at Singapore Cyber Sports, and then we will actually give it to the lucky winner. We will also announce this on our Instagram and Facebook, so of course stay tuned and follow our social media. So with that, right, we will proceed to the game of NTU versus Temasek Poly. Casters.
Thank you, Jolene Pop. And welcome back, guys. This is Raiko, and with me I have Gobsty here. And what a game just now by NUS and SUTD. SUTD just snowballing off from the bottom side, bringing it over to the top side as well. And although we kind of highlighted the mid lane, he wasn't really much of a factor in the previous game, but he still did his part and allowed SUTD to snowball the game in 25 minutes.
Yeah, I love the support that Nico provides in that mid lane. I wouldn't be able to say the Nico need parts because in my previous jobs, but I love this League of Legends. The funds you can create.
So right now we're going to look into Game 3. It is Temasek Polytechnic versus NTU. And Temasek Polytechnic, they are the runner-ups of last year. So they'll be looking to maybe dethrone Nanyang Polytechnic of their title and probably get back the first spot they've long wanted for the past 3-4 years. And the last time they actually won a tournament that involves Polytechnic University as well as ITE was in 2018 when they took down Nanyang Polytechnic, and ever since then it has been Nanyang Polytechnic. So this year round they are trying to make it all about Temasek Polytechnic, but they have to go against Nanyang Polytechnic in their groups as well, and they have to keep up the momentum because Temasek Polytechnic right now, last week they won 1-0, so if they win NTU, they will maintain the position with NYP at the top of Group B.
Now, when they hold that top position with Nanyang Poly, it allows them to contest them in that final round, and then maybe Temasek Poly will emerge as victor this year.
Indeed. So we are looking to see whether Temasek Polytechnic can be victorious in this game against NTU to maintain the pressure on NYP for the first spot in Group B. NTU, on the other hand, they were second in IVGF 3 weeks ago, but however, they are fielding in an entirely different roster, so I'm not sure how this roster will work out. However, I do think that NTU, they will be able to come out with a good performance against TP and probably give an upset victory. However, I'm still favouring this matchup to go in favour of Temasek Polytechnic.
Yeah, but you look at NTU, the newer players, they have been coached by, I believe they have been coached by the previous ones that have won the IVGF second place, and then that allows them to, continue the prestige that this NTU has.
And so NTU, they are known to play through the mid laner, right? So I'm looking how whether this iteration of NTU roster is able to play through the mid lane as well. But however, for the Temasek Polytechnic side, they are playing through their jungler. Their jungler has always been the main carry of the team. So a different kind of playstyle altogether, but it just sees whether which team is able to utilize the playstyle difference and get the team the victory.
Yep, so one side we have the jungle, and then the other, I believe, team fights.
Indeed. So, I mean, in the end, it still be a team fight, right? Because when you look at Temasek Polytechnic in general, the top laner Suzuki, he plays a lot of these tank champions that don't really do the side lane pressure, but it's more of being able to join a team for a team fight. He plays champions like Shen, he plays Volibear, he plays the Udyr, who doesn't really play the top lane, but he actually uses it in the top lane very well. So I'm looking to see whether he has any surprise picks for us for this champion select. However, on NTU, I don't really have much information about the players, but I do know they are also very team fight centric as well. But I want to see how these teams are able to play. So while we wait for pick and bans to start, I'm just curious to know what are your thoughts, Temasek Polytechnic or NTU?
Going into this pick and ban, I really think that NTU should be able to continue their legacy.
So Temasek Polytechnic now, they are on blue side. So this is very important, right? Because we never really talked about how teams being on which side matters, because the first game, it was one-sided by NYP. SUTD NUS, I would have preferred NUS to be on the blue side, but they didn't get the blue side, right? So they got the red side, and we saw how Ezreal, being a so important pick, was actually taken away from NUS, and that kind of caused the snowball to happen, which is through the bomb side. So I'm looking to see whether TP and NTU prioritize the Ezreal game, but it seems like they're going to ban out the Rumble first, followed by the Kassadin.
Ooh, a Kassadin ban. Could be, you don't usually see that nowadays in the meta, but could be a target ban,
I mean, Kassadin right now, not say it's a very strong champion, but it can scale to the level 16, and when it hits the level 16 mark, it goes very well in side lanes. And there's not much champions that actually goes well against Kassadin once you reach the level 16 mark. Probably can think of is champions like Vladimir is probably the only option you can think of. So Kassadin level 16, especially with the buffs to Frozen Heart and other items that allows him to build defensive but still do a lot of damage, it just gives him way more options in terms of how to itemize. But TP, they are banning out the Lee Sin. It is probably to prevent the flex of Lee Sin. I don't think in NTU in general they have the triple flex of the Lee Sin.
And then you look at NTU now banning out the Leona. I don't think they may look for an Alistar, to be picked. So I guess banning out the support for NTU. They don't want to deal with the Leona Solar Flare. What do you think TP can bring out?
I think they're probably gonna look for another jungle ban. It is the Diana, as I predicted, that NTU, their junglers is the position where they want to focus on. So they're banning out the Hecarim will be the final ban. So 4 jungle bans in the first ban phase. So I do think they have to pick the jungle early game. It's not early pick phase, because if they don't pick it, it will be pinched even further. Nocturne again, hovered by TP.
I just now saw Samira pick back. Samira hover. It's a possibility against Samira. They did Riot did a summary of who had the most pentakills, and then Samira was up there, and they lock in the Samira.
Yeah, so for Samira, right, is Temasek Polytechnic's AD carry special. He is very in favor of Samira. I remember when I was screaming against Temasek Polytechnic in general that they don't really play other AD carries except for the Samira, that we had to ban out the Samira, right? And NTU, however, they are prioritizing the Ezreal. This is what we expected, because hold up, they actually locked in the Xin Zhao instead.
Yeah, Xin Zhao, I believe he's one of the strongest. He's one of the strong junglers out there with that gap closing ability, and he's out to just push everyone away in a team fight.
Yes, but Xin Zhao, I would consider him more of like a cheese jungle, right? Because he doesn't clear as fast as most jungles, but he has the gank potential way better than most jungles as of now. So it depends on how smart can NTU play with Xin Zhao. Can he get those ganks unaware of by TP? And if TP don't walk the flanks properly, Xin Zhao is able to get the lead, and that kind of snowball the game, because Xin Zhao is such a strong duelist early game.
So we may expect some cheeses coming out from the start of Xin Zhao. So what do you think TP will lock in? And they lock in the Nocturne.
Yes, the Nocturne. Again, a priority pick for Temasek Polytechnic. They did use this Nocturne pick last week against SUTD, and they got the win over SUTD. So Hard EC will probably be one piloting this Nocturne, but it might be flexed into the top or even the mid lane. We don't know yet. NTU, however, they do lock in the Ezreal in the AD, as the AD carry. Again, the strong priority for Ezreal in the current patch. And now TP taking away the Karma, preventing the Ezreal Karma bottom lane.
Yeah, so now you have a Samira Karma bottom lane. What do you think about that?
I would think that this bottom lane has a very strong pressure in the early game. However, I don't think there is the synergy that you want from this Samira and Karma. But the Karma definitely can keep the Samira alive with the extra shields that she provides for this Samira. And NTU now locking in the Orianna, blinding in the Orianna. So I think that now NTU, they want to pinch out the mid laner.
Especially when you blind pick the Orianna, it now makes it a bit harder for the... You need to ban out certain champions that counters Orianna.
Yes, and now instead of banning out the mid laner, NTU is looking to ban out Suzuki in the top side. The Shen ban coming in. We might probably see even the Udyr or the Volibear ban coming out from NTU. So NTU is more worried of Suzuki being able to put the pressure on the top side rather more than banning out champions that is able to just win Orianna in lane.
Yeah, and because they don't have a support yet for the side of NTU, Temasek just goes out and bans Lulu.
Yes, but do you actually ban Lulu again with... And because I don't see how Lulu is actually paired with Ezreal. I'm more looking at things like maybe even the Senna, right? Because last game we saw how SUTD used the Senna Ezreal bottom lane. So I do expect them to probably utilize that Senna ban instead of the Lulu, because I don't see how Lulu synergizes very well with the Ezreal. But instead, TP, the final ban will be the Wukong, and NTU, they will finally ban the LeBlanc, which is relatively a very strong laner against the Orianna.
But, you know, TP, they have the Nocturne, so they could flex it to mid against the Orianna.
Yes, and now you mentioned about the Alistar. He is locked in as the support for NTU. Very good prediction there coming in from you.
I don't really know, because, you know, melee supports, they have that engage, and now I believe Hextech Flash is now allowed. So the Alistar will come in really handy.
Yeah, but we think about the NTU bottom lane now. You see the Ezreal, you see the Alistar against a Karma Samira. I don't think this is a favorable matchup for NTU at all, because the Karma and Samira will just run you down in lane. And TP locks in the set. I do believe Suzuki will be the one piloting the set, and the Victor hover for the final pick in the mid lane.
It's hovering the Silas though.
I love this Silas hover, because if they do lock it in, they have the Alistar ulti. It is the best, one of the best ultimates to take if you are TP right now.
Yeah, and you also have the Orianna out to take as well. So you go in and then you kill everyone, and then instead they lock in the Victor.
That's unfortunate. I definitely want to see the Silas there, because
Yeah.
taking the Alistar ultimate gives you the damage reduction, and you're just able to stay in the back line and just do a lot of damage without losing as much health as you used to without the Alistar ultimate. So I definitely want to see the Silas pick. However, Victor, a very good mid lane counter to the Orianna. I think it's a very skill matchup, because whoever is able to really utilize the lane manipulation as well as the wave management will give you the lead in the mid lane. And finally, we see the Volibear locked in for the side of NTU. So I do think the Volibear will be going to the top side against the set. And Volibear in general kind of wins set around the mid game probably, but early game it is set favorite.
You know, both of these champs can just jump into the backline, but I think Seth will be more of a trouble in the backline with his out.
Indeed, and when you look at how both comps are looking at right now, you see NTU, they have the Volibear, they have the Alistar, they have the Xin Zhao and the Orianna. So it's a very dive heavy comp. And on TP side as well, they have the Nocturne, they have the Set, they even have Samira and Karma. Again, another dive heavy comp. So these two are really looking to duke it out. And also from draft, I think both teams are relatively even.
Yep. Now, you talk about both of them being dive, so we may want to keep our eyes on the supports on who can get that river control first before the other team comes, you know.
Yes, and when you look at how both teams drafted, I do think the river priority will definitely go over to the side of Temasek Polytechnic, because Karma Samira, stronger early game. You think of Set, stronger early game than Volibear, so they have the early game pressure. Although mid lane is a skill matchup, I think it's slightly favored to the Orianna probably, because if the Orianna gets the good wave clear, he's able to get the shove in first, and that will allow him to move first from the mid lane. But if the Victor is able to just trade out with the Orianna early game, he's able to get a power from the mid lane. I think the early game scuttles will determine how the game or the pace will go.
Those early game scuttles, who knows? Maybe they even be a double scuttle in that very first scuttle spawn.
Yes, and when you see how NTU as well and TP, this is NTU's first game of the week, of the tournament as well probably, because last week they didn't play because there were 7 teams in the group. So I want to see how NTU really brings up a strategy to be able to beat down Temasek Polytechnic in this game. But Temasek Polytechnic, I want to see how they are able to utilize their momentum from week 1, bring it to week 2, get the 2-0, and stay up with momentum with NYP for the first spot.
Yep. They need this win, and then they keep their spot with NYP, and they go out to the knockout stage.
Indeed. So, looking at the team comp, however, I just want to highlight something which is the Alistar and the Ezreal versus the Samira and the Karma. I kind of mentioned it a little bit in the game, but in the Champions League, but I don't really go in depth into it. But I don't like how Alistar is being picked into this game because I just feel that Alistar doesn't provide much in the laning phase. And even in team fight, there could have been better picks such as the Nautilus, because Nautilus have the lock-in CC to just pin down the Samira. However, for Alistar, if you miss the WQ, that's probably the end, right? Because if you don't combo it perfectly, then Samira will just run rampant in your backline with the Nocturne as well as the set, and that's not what you want to do as the support.
Yeah, especially when Nautilus, he's a very good support now. If you're daring enough, you can even flex him into the jungle. But you see him as a support, he has that near impossible to miss hook, and he has that ult that just knocks up everyone as well.
Indeed. So I was a bit curious why NTU chose for the Alistar instead of the Nautilus, but it might be a comfort pick for the support of NTU. We don't know yet. So I'm very excited to see how the bottom lane will work, because I kind of highlight that this is the focal point of the game, the bottom lane now, which will be between the Ezreal, Alistar versus the Karma and Samira. So I want to see how NTU is able to pilot these 2 champs and whether they are able to get any sort of even lane or probably even a lead by themselves, because when you think of Karma Samira, it's just definitely push. But if the Ezreal and Alistar manage to get some good picks, right, with the jungle help, that'll definitely change the tide of the bottom lane and it will be favor of NTU.
And then, you talk about piloting, it sounds like you're piloting a mecha in the bottom lane as well. 2 pilots, bottom lane. You need the Alistar to be the one going in, but if he misses, like you said, the WQ combo, you're basically a goner there.
Yes, and in general, as a lane going against an Enchanter support, the option is to go all in. Because if you don't go all in, the Enchanter as well as the AD will just poke you down. And the more you get poked, the more difficult it is to go all in. And if you don't go all in, you're just going to get choked out in lane. So, NT really is on them to really look to where to engage. But TP definitely have the better draft in terms of the bottom side. But I do think NTU's top side is way better, because Volibear Xin Cao versus Set Nocturne. How easy it is just lock in on someone with a stun, the rest will be running on you down.
Yeah, Volibear just runs you down and then he just mauls and then stuns you. What do you do after that?
Yeah, there's no counter to it. Maybe if you can time your sets E with the Volibear's Q animation, you don't get stunned by the Volibear.
That's pretty hard to land if you ask me.
That's really very to the micro details, right? So I don't think it is favored for top side to probably win the 2v2. But if it's a 1v1, I definitely still favor the set. Just that I think it's easier to execute top side more with NTU's team comp rather than the bottom side, the top side with TP's team comp.
So the things to look for is the top side for TP and the bottom side for NTU. These 2 should be interesting to be watching.
Yes, correct, because it is on whether NTU's bottom side is able to get the lead, and it's whether to see whether TP's top side is able to survive the onslaught that's coming in from the top side of NTU. So while we wait for Champions Select, to go through, I just want to highlight that if TP loses this, they are now even with SUTD and NUS. And since TP kind of won SUTD already, right? So the only closest competitor will be then NUS, and that will be later on in the week, later on in the competition. So I'm very excited to see how NUS actually prepares for the TP matchup.
Yep, and with that, we'll head on to the Rift, Temasek Poly against NTU. I believe this is our final match of the day.
Indeed. So Murdoch will not be playing this week because there's only 7 teams in the group, so only 3 games a week for Group B.
So, what do you think the jungles will be pathing since you see them like both starting near the top side?
I think both of them were pathing from the bottom to top because in general you just want to be able to help this top lane of TP versus NTU, the set and the Volibear. This matchup is very volatile because as a Volibear player as well as a set player, I've experienced both sides of the matchup before. I think that in general, if one champion has the lead, it is very difficult to come back because the one champion just snowballs off the lead, and especially getting the Bramble Vest early would just deny so much damage and output and healing from both the Volibear as well as the set.
Yeah, Volibear, the heal that he has with his, I believe, the Q ability, it sort of makes you feel that, as the set, you want to go for that Bramble Vest early.
I believe the killing actually comes from the W instead of the Q. The Q is the point and click stun, right? You just have to aim at the champion you're running to, just press the Q and then you're stunning the champion. So it's kind of like a very simple stun to execute, and it allows the Xin Zhao to kind of just go on to the enemy carry after stunning him. So NT's team comp is generally very easy to execute, but I still prefer TP in the late game.
Yeah, and then now you look at it, it seems like TP really wants to help their top laner, when their jungler is starting bottom and they're pathing to top. While NTU's jungler is pathing towards the bottom side, helping their Azriel and Alistar combo, something that you don't usually see.
I think that this is actually very smart from NTU because we kind of talked about it in the Champions Leg. Hold on, however, there is a big turret at top, but
Yeah, some
Suzuki just
turret.
running away.
Look at the amount of minions there are for the side of the blue. It really seems that if you get that solo kill, you deny that much CS.
And NTU bottom lane, however, they are the one pushing in. So NTU here reading the lane state very well because they know that if they were to be leashing for the jungle in the blue side, first, they won't be able to get the pressure into the bottom side, and that will mean that they will be getting shoved in. So they want to be the one shoving in first so that they allow the jungle to actually play through their lane itself.
Yeah, and then you talk about the pokes. You look at the amount of damage Azure has done to that Karma already. Forced to use the healing pots already, but she still has the cookies.
Yes, and now Xin Zhao looking to invade the bottom side jungle. He's only done 3 cans, however, so Nocturne is just enjoying his time, taking the Grom as well as the blue. I think he's not taking the Grom, he's just running straight to the Scuttle.
Yeah, after that, I think he's just gonna go for a gank onto the top side.
Now Nocturne here looking to just get the top Scuttle. Probably clear his Grom and then go for the reset. And Set having the half top lane, we talked about it just now as well. The Set will have the early game momentum in the top side, but the bottom lane is not working out to what I kind of predicted because Azure and Alistar just managed to get the early game shove in because they were there in lane first, hence denying the early game shove from the Sabrina as well as the Karma.
Yep, and now Xin Zhao may look for a gank. Look,
Hold
Karma may
on.
be caught out here. He goes for a ward placement, but they go in for the kill. Forced to use the flash here as Alistar goes in, takes the damage, and now that's first blood for the Alistar actually.
That was so well executed by NTU. The Alistar actually flashed for although he wasn't in range yet, he just flashed over just to get onto the Karma, and Samira now getting chunked a bit, and there is a pause. I believe it might be some technical difficulties coming in, probably from the Karma. I believe maybe it's a Karma, right? Because I think Karma's walking was very awkward, so I do think there's something wrong with the Karma. But we do have to wait until we get some information on what is the cause of the pause. But so far, early game wise, I like how NTU is dealing with the early game because I expected NTU to fall down a bit more in the early game, but they are the one in position.
Yep. Now, we saw that the junglers will play such an important role. You control how your lanes go, and when you go to help that losing lane, it really shows that despite they have the poke, they go for the dive, they get that kill, but it goes onto the Alistar,
Indeed. And when we look at how NTU was playing, right, they didn't leash for the jungle. And because they didn't leash for the jungle, they came to lane first. And because they came to lane first, they had the prior in the lane, and they reached the level 2 first, way earlier than the TP AD carry bottom lane and support. So they were able to shove the AD carry and Karma in. That allows Xin Zhao to actually play the map through the bottom side because they have the prio, and that allows the first blood to happen. But on the other side, TP, I think it was kind of standard. I kind of predicted that TP went to play to the top side because Set has the advantage early game in the top side, and that was how NTU responded. They allowed Volibear to just take it safe, let the Set shove in so that they are able to play it slow from the top side. And from that kind of style of play, they got the lead at the bottom lane.
Yeah. So once they have that lead in the bottom lane, what do you do after that as the losing side, you know?
I think not right now, Temasek Polytechnic, I wouldn't consider them like the losing side yet because there's definitely ways to come back, and I think it's still too early in the game to ever call who's leading, who's winning. But as of now, I think that right now TP just needs to look to punish Alistar for burning his flash, but at the same time, since I'll look to punish Karma for burning her flash. So there's two ways to look at it. It's just which team is able to punish which side more, and if TP is able to punish NTU's Alistar for burning his flash to just get the first blood, that would mean that bottom lane will start to favor the TP side more, and it will scale up the scaling of Samira even further.
The scaling of Samira is a dangerous thing to look for. It's one of the champions that you cannot fit early, or else it's just going to stomp your entire game.
Yes, there's those moments, remember, when Samira just came out, all you think of is, can we just stop the R, please? The R is just too disgusting.
Yeah, it had 0 cooldown, so you just proc that passive up, you get that out, you proc it again, you're just killing the entire enemy team.
Yes, and something to really look out for is definitely we talked about is how hard is he plays through his team, because we talk about how TP he's the leader of like so-called the leader of the team because he is the one always doing the work for the team and his team just backs him up. So I want to see how hard is he actually takes the ownership of this game, because if he's able to set up some good ganks for his team will be able to solidify back their position and then look for the lead and then look to win the game through the laning phase. However, if NTU and the new roster here, okay, I've never really seen the roster before, but I do think so far what they're showing has been very good.
Yeah. And you see NTU against TP, I believe they were the ones to get the first blood. And then that allowed them, I believe, after that allows that weird Alistar Ezreal combo in the bottom lane to actually prosper.
Yeah, but I don't think that Alistar will actually stay the bottom lane too much, because in general, as Alistar, you want to be one roaming around the map. You want to be impacting maybe the top or even the mid, or maybe invade the jungle as well. So I do expect that Alistar, once he's get his first bag or maybe second bag, he'll start to look around the map even more, and from that make the plays at the other side of the map. And that will leave Ezreal actually safe farming at bottom lane, and I think I like that idea more for NTU. So I want to see whether NTU is able to pull off that, leave the Ezreal in the bottom side. And yes, alright. So we do have information on what is going on, which is one player actually picked Hex Flash, right? Because Hex Flash is right now banned, not say banned, but disabled because of certain bugs to the mastery, right? So one of the players actually picked Hex Flash, which was banned. So there will be a remake of the lobby, and I think that is just unfortunate, right? Because TP actually, I don't know which team picked the Hex Flash yet, but because of that, we will have to remake the lobby and we will have to start again. I think that is unfortunate, right? Because I think NTU came with a game plan, and I think it was just caught out by TP because of this Hex Flash bug.
Yeah, it could also be the Alistar, he flashed in, he get that kill, and maybe, he had the Hex Flash,
And that definitely possible, because I don't think who else can get the Hex Flash, right? We look at the enemy side, probably first side of TP is only probably the set.
Yeah.
But why would you take a Hex Flash in top lane against like Volibear when you should be taking like your Resolve tree instead? Or even maybe you want to go very aggressive, you go for this Domination tree. So definitely I do think it's probably Alistar taking the Hex Flash, so it's unfortunate that he was the one making the play, that amazing dive at bottom lane that gave the kill over to NTU side. But right now we have to remake the lobby.
Yep, it's unfortunate, you because of a bug, you lose that first blood as well, I believe.
Indeed, so we're gonna have to rewatch again. I do believe that it will be the same champions again, so something to look forward again to. It's just that the pathing by NTU will probably be read by TP's jungler, and he will now be able to actually like instruct team, okay, we should avoid this pathing level 1. We should just go for the early lane priority in level 1 to allow the lanes just automatically shoving himself. He might even do his own jungle clear by himself. So there is more options now for the TP jungler to play, because knowing how the early game jungler of Xin Zhao is pathing early game on previous game, it will allow him to actually make a more informed decision of how he want to path to the top side.
Yeah, but then that comes with a uncertainty that let's say you go off with the plan that he's going with that.
that he's puffing down bot, then you also puff down bot the same. But what if he already knows that you are puffing down bot, rewinding time, and then you instead, he's puffing up to top say, to, impact there, instead of countering your gank onto the bottom.
Yeah, that's where the 200 IQ plays comes in, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, 200 IQ in this guy. He says, okay, you're going to be bot, then I'll go top then. And
Yeah.
then we're getting the set. And then if the set dies, it's another lead for outside. And in general, this is how League of Legends play, right? It's a game of inches, I would say, because it's like a chess. Every move you make just determines what you want to do as a player. And the more information you have, the more decisions you can choose to make. And it gives you more options to take away, and it denies the enemy more response. Because if you have information that the enemy is starting on the red buff and is looking to path top at 3 minute 15, as the top laner of the enemy team, you'll be like, okay, I have to just prevent. I have to just maintain the lane state at maybe around 2 minutes 30 seconds, and then maybe 45 seconds before the gank comes in, I'll have to
Back off.
back off and just relax and let the lane shove in. If the wave is too big, it means that the dive is possible. I have to thin the wave enough so that the dive won't happen. But if you don't have the decision that, okay, the enemy is actually starting top side now, he might look for this cheese gang, we don't know. So it's very difficult to utilize or make decisions when you don't have the information to make decisions. So I think League of Legends, especially Vision, is so important to kind of start off this chess game, I would say, because every movement you make, every decision you do will affect how each pieces of the board moves along with you.
Yeah, it feels like the jungle is the pawn. With his resources, he can spread it across the map, and then it makes it feel like the mid laner is like the king or queen of the game. He controls what, he's the priority target of the opponent.
I wouldn't say that the jungle is the pawn, I'll think the supports is the pawn.
Ah.
Why? Because the supports are the one moving around the map the most, and after you reached like, let's say, maybe the first back, you're gonna start being around the map to put the vision wards. And when you look at the chess game, the pawns are the one with the most numbers. They're the one going forward the most, giving you the vision, giving you what exactly is happening in the board. Okay, I mean you don't really see the pawns talking to each other like, oh, this is this is that, but the pawns are there to give you the numbers advantage, right? So it's always, when I think about it, it's always more like the support being the pawn. And I think that like the jungle is the queen, because the jungle can move anywhere around the map, any distance, and he's expected to be, and you always expect the jungle to be there. And you can think of like the knight, the rook, as well as the bishop to be the remaining 3 players, and the king is just a nexus, right? Because the nexus don't really move. Yep. So really, League of Legends to me feels like a chess game, and that's why I kind of enjoy playing League, because okay, my mechanics isn't the best, 100%, right? My mechanics is probably like maybe 60%, 50% at best, but it tells you a lot about how you, as a player sitting at the back, you want how the game to be played. There's an optimal style. There's a 100% play. Every move your enemy makes, you want to be able to counter it with another move you are willing to make with the decisions that you have. So getting the most important thing, right, I feel, is getting the decisions that goes to your favor.
Yeah, and then there comes with the risk taking. What if those decisions are not in your favor, but it wins you those fights? That allows your players to make those big plays. Those flash outs, the flash box. Who knows? Maybe your Orianna flashes in, throws the shockwave out, and you catch all 5 members in, and then your Ezreal true shot barrage just comes through.
But that's the ideal situation, right? Because when you think of chess, every piece does its role, right? Because a chess, maybe let's say like the pawn is like level 50, you expect a level 50 pawn to be able to match the level 50 pawn of the enemy team. So the difference between the chess and League of Legends is more of like each pieces in the board have a different level. So can this level 46 pawn of the enemy team beat this level 30 pawn in the enemy team? So there's a skill gap between each pieces, but that's what makes games within the community very interesting, because you can see whether this gap actually affects the game too much, or will it doesn't matter because the team in general has the better decisions because of how informed their decisions are. Whereas on side of like professional gaming, you think of most players are about the same level, so it's all about those informed decisions that they make that really utilize the game. And but in professional gaming, you're thinking of like one level down might not be a big issue, right? But if the one level down piece is able to just get destroyed by, like say, a level 100, okay, let's call it faker level 100, and you're going against a level 99 pawn. And if Fakers manage to damage this level 99 pawn, that's a big win for professional game because it just deprives you of the resource this level 99 pawn is supposed to give you. So Campus Legends is all about how you are able to maybe downplay one of your weakness and use it to and try to use one of your strength to actually to help to overcome this weakness.
Yeah. With that being said, I feel that really it doesn't matter your skill, but in Campus Legends, if you feed that one guy too much, he just stomps the entire game. Like we saw in the past 2 games, the Ezreal and that Akali, both very scary.
Indeed.
One even getting a penta even.
Yeah, so when you think about the first game, the Akali, right? He just playing for the lols. He's just going for the Moby Boots by just to get the extra kills, extra movement speed around the map. He just wants to go all in. Just was a bit unfortunate we didn't get the Magi. I want to see how many stacks he could have gotten in the end of the game. Then the second game, you see the Ezreal just pop off. It was a very close game, I would say, until the first death at the second fight that happened around the bottom side of the map, which caused the lead to really just snowball for SUTD. And for NTU, however, we don't know what is going on yet. I still think they are in the middle of the remake right now. They might be looking to start the game soon. I'm not very sure of that. But same champion, same draft, I would still prefer TP's draft over NTU's draft as well.
Okay. The drafts, I feel that the team fights are the ones that would set up the game, really. Because you say the decisions that they make, the fights that they go for, those are the ones that they need to decide who can really win the game.
Yes, and they have already remade the lobby, so they will be going to the game pretty soon. But just to really talk about the team itself, we talk about how they want to do a team fight, the setup within the team fight. And both teams are very focused on to dive into the backline because they have the champion to focus on to the backline. So I'm really excited to see how they will play. And now we're back into the Rift. TP vs NTU, same draft, same champions, just no more Hex Flash.
Yep, that Hex Flash, I really think it was the Alistar.
And we can't really see the secondary runes from here, but I definitely think it was the Alistar because we don't really see which champion can use the Hex Flash. Maybe Xin Cao can use the Hex Flash, who knows?
You just surprise the person without vision, and oh look, instead they're going for the level 1 invade. This 2v3, they just go for early vision, get some early trades off, If the Karma was there, you can actually get some gold with that Spell Thief's Edge.
Indeed, but the Karma has to do his 5-point guard. This is the standard guarding system of how most teams will go because doing the 5-point guard actually just gives them information on whether enemies invading or not. And we know that they actually warded the red side of the NTU jungle, so that actually gives information on how NTU will start and gives TP information on how to play around thing. So I don't think NTU will look to clear the ward, and it seems like Nuka is just walking to the lane, just trying to get the early lead in the mid lane. And now we see the same situation where and TP's bottom lane is actually still leashing for the jungle, and top side is still the same slot.
But like you said before, when the top side has that lead, it's kind of impossible to fight.
Indeed. So now, looking at the lane itself, it is still favored into NTU right now. It's slowly shoving in. NTU's playing the lane very well.
Yep. Once you have that level 2, you can start to apply pressure even more.
Yes. Small trades coming in from the Karma though. It kind of puts down the Ezreal into not a good position in terms of HP, but there's Alistar, right? Alistar every 7 minutes or 8 minutes to kill, that's from free HPs for you back.
Look at the trades. You go for the Karma and they go in again for the kill. They may even secure this with that poke that they have. Both of the bot laners of TP now are both nearly half health. Forced to use the potions actually.
Yeah, so this lane doesn't seem like it's going very well for the start of TP, but NTU definitely looking to get the lead they want, similar to the previous game. Maybe Xin Cao will maybe come over to the bottom side to actually get another cheese gang down, and the more gangs he can get, the more useful this Xin Cao will be.
Yep. Once you have those gangs secured and maybe even the top side, look, you get that stun off, you get those kills, you maybe even secure the kill right here with the Haymaker, but he forces the flash off the Volibear.
Yes, that was very crucial, and now with the Volibear flashless, it sets up more opportunities for Nocturne to go top side, and Xin Cao here being bottom side means that
NTU is looking to play aggressive here.
Yeah, they are making TP push up, but it seems they know that their Singzao is there. So wasting this time and delaying it more for the Singzao is crucial for TP.
Yeah, but I think that NTU, they can actually opt in to play very... Oh,
Oh,
look
here
here.
comes the flash. He goes in for the gap closer, but look at them. They just get out easily. It may secure one kill as the Ezreal goes in. Oh, he gets blocked by the minions.
I think he actually auto-attacked the creep instead of the
Yeah,
jump.
oh my god, instead it's the first blood for TP. What are you doing, Singzao? You're not supposed to go in.
And look at Nocturne, he's just invading the top side of Xin Zhao's jungle. That was so unfortunate coming in from Xin Zhao. He shouldn't have went in again. And top side, Suzuki, he is playing and put the volley very low. A dive
But
coming
Nocturne
in.
wants the gank, he wants the dive. He wants that kill. He's just proxying the wave right here.
I don't think this dive can happen because Volibear is preventing the wave from crashing in. And
Oh, he
hard
made...
AC, you shouldn't be here.
Oh, Samira actually gets a double on the bottom lane. We don't even know what happened there.
Samira just solo killed Ezreal and Alistar by
Oh.
himself.
And
And-
I think Victor's in trouble here. Maybe even forced to use the flash to get the kill, but Nuclear survives with a sliver of health and mana left and goes for the early back.
Everything NTU wanted to do is going wrong. The bottom lane is their focus point, but they're not doing anything bottom side because Ezreal and Alistar just lost 2v1.
Yeah, that's not supposed to happen, but it is Samira, you know. It's one of those broken champs that you can just say, I lost because, you know, it's Samira.
Yeah, but I don't think Samira is that broken as of now. But definitely, if Samira snowballs very hard, it gets very difficult for Ezreal to play. But I would still favor Ezreal in the late game because of how much range he has.
Look at that poke. Oh my god, Nuker. You're doing a lot of damage, but I don't think it's enough. Here comes the fourth flash. The auto attack nearly kills Nuker there.
Both mid laners survive with a sliver of health, and that's very close coming from both Nuka as well as the lost one. But NTU right now, it seems that their only lane that is doing well right now is the mid lane. Top lane, however, is doing well for NTU though. Volibear is having the slight CS lead, although he was kind of shoved out the lane a bit by Nocturne and Set trying to dive top side.
Yep. Now you see Set. He has the two. He has the two ruby crystals. He should be able to survive the poke, to survive the damage that Volibear has.
Yeah, but Volibear, I think he will be rushing for the early Bramble Vest, but the early Bramble Vest actually, I'm not sure he will do the rush.
Oh, that Haymaker, true damage. That armor won't help you from anything.
Yeah, and now look at Volibear, he is level 6, however, the wave is shoving into the south set, so they might look for a top lane dive. Maybe Volibear can even just kill Set by himself, it's up to him honestly, but
Ooh, nice shield.
right now Xin Zhao here, he's backing
Oh,
off.
he forces the Set into a fight and gets a good trade-off. Now they're both level 6. If he goes for a dive, this is gonna be very crucial.
Yes, Set trying to bait the Volibear to walk forward so he
Yep.
can use his E, maybe flash back and then grab the Volibear into his turret. But Volibear didn't walk in front, so that was very smart coming in from the Volibear. And this is kind of what you want to see from how NTU want to play, because right now the bottom lane didn't do the job they needed to do to get the lead in the bottom side. So they kind of behind a bit because double buff went over to the Karma and Samir gets the double kill by himself. So those are very big events that kind of turn the favor a little bit to TB. It's getting even faster than what we kind of expected.
Yeah, but look at the CS lead that Ezreal has already created. It's nearly 10, but that's roughly a kill, right?
Yeah, so he's still 1 kill and 1 assist down. So it's kind of still big of how NTU wants to play. But now look at Nocturne here, he's hovering to the bottom side. He's trying to get some EXP. I think he's going to reach level 6 soon.
Yeah,
So once he reaches 6, he's going to go for the dive.
Yup, and then it's lights out and away we go onto the bot lane dive.
Oh,
Yeah, he
look
reaches
there.
level 6. Soon he has to use the ult to get this kill maybe, or even just apply pressure onto the bottom side.
Yeah, NTU read the play. They actually stepped back the moment he reached level 6. I think it was warded somewhere, but it doesn't seem like it was warded on the bush though. So I think they have a hunch that he's somewhere in the bottom side, and they want to be playing very safely until Nocturne shows himself around the map.
So once you have that information that Nocturne's not even on the map, it could mean that he's bottom lane.
Yeah, so right now Nocturne going back to clear his jungle, and Xin Zhao, he is about 4 camps behind the Nocturne right now, so he's trying to catch up in terms of EXP. And look at the items Xin Zhao's going. He's going to Serrated Dunk. He is going for the Eclipse build that we commonly see more of the God Drinker or even the Frostfire or the tank build.
Yeah. No, I really like this vision setup that the set has already created on the top side. It gives that early warning, but you see Sing Tao's puffing towards bottom, so it sort of works, but it's just there, you know.
Yeah, but then what kind of spots out whether he kind of spot out whether Xin Zhao's at the top side of the jungle, knowing that the camps are cleared in the top side means that the only probability that where Xin Zhao will be is the bottom side. So he is now allowed to play more aggressive in the top side. And looking at the two Ruby Crystals, I do think that set can still go to the Strikebreaker build, but knowing Shizuki, he might go for a different unique tank build.
He misses the stun though, but I really like the sustain that he can have with this Ruby Crystals is really extraordinary.
Indeed, so the two Ruby Crystals gives him the... Have you actually seen this unique build by Set where he goes 0 resistance and his true damage does about 2.5k to 3k damage?
No, I think that's a bit broken as you see a bit of the trades and look at that Haymaker true damage again.
I have a feeling that Suzuki right now, he's going for this no resistance build and just looking to do maximum output of damage with 0 resistance. And now Suzuki, with the set, he's just punching the top turret plating, and that'll give him 1 turret plate at least.
Yeah, but because you now allow the jungle to take that Herald, and also TP already secured the Dragon. So this shows that the TP jungler really knows how to use that jungle tempo to his advantage. Oh, they may contest this, you know, he could just jump in, but he has the smite, I believe. He goes in. Red team still Herald actually. Then look, all 3 members go in, Set jumps into the back line. Not enough as Nuker comes in and secures the kill as this lights out, and the Volibear jumps in, it's not enough, he gets a 1-for-1, and then the silent one, the lost one just dies.
Yes, TP playing the fight top side very well, and bottom line,
But bottom, look at it, the Samira just goes in, what can you do against that? You get that reset on that E, and then now you're just gonna die. That poke and that heal that Karma provides allows you to get that ace on the top and bottom as well.
10-minute ace coming from the side of TP. TP just showing us why they are one of the favorites to win this tournament right now. Lanes just winning all over the map.
Yeah, this really doesn't feel like a solo queue game anymore. It really feels that TP has that advantage against NTU. It feels like NTU is playing like a solo queue game.
Yeah, so TP with the wins from the top side as well as the bottom side have now cleared a 4.5k gold lead just through laning phase as well as through the team fights they've won. And it's not really a 5v5 team fight yet, it has been a 3v3 versus a 2v2, right? Bottom side, top side. So TP just shows how much better they are in terms of mechanical outplays as well as just how well they are in understanding how to set up the wave for the team.
Yeah, and because NTU still sold the Herald, they're gonna use it down mid. You know, I feel that the mid tower tier 1 is the most important. You get three plates right here for the lost one, and now you're getting caught out by 2 people. And then you go for the flash, he uses a shockwave to try to save himself. Here comes the Alistar, it won't be enough. Tower taking a lot of damage here. You may get just for a 1-for-1, but you force the flash out of the Orianna, I believe.
Yes, now Alistar chasing after the Victor since I was just behind.
Yeah, but Karma is here, and then the stun could possibly get him. He goes in for the fight. There's a TP down here as well. That nice ulti from the Sing Zhao pushes away everyone, but now Set is here. He is level 9. He has the level advantage. He goes into the back line. Now he goes for the Ezreal. What can Ezreal do? He can't Arcane Shield out, and look at that rune. Look at that true damage, and he's gone.
Yes, Shizuki with the teleport. TP down to the bottom river and gets the assist of, I think it was an assist or kill, right? One of them onto his team. So TP definitely still winning the fights, although I feel that NTU was the one over chasing a bit. They should have just taken the 1-for-1 and back off. So TP is still getting a hit. And we look at the set round, he is a mid item up, but it's not the Strikebreaker that we expected. It's actually the Sunfire Aegis.
Yeah, and then wait, you look at the bottom side. Both of them actually have 7 kills in total. This is not something you want on the Karma or the Samurai itself.
Yeah, so this bottom side again accelerated a bit, maybe just because of mistakes coming from NTU. So TP, the AD carry has 3 kills, Karma with 4 kills. I'm pretty sure the Karma can actually back off to get his mid item, and with the Shurella, they can look to play even more aggressive because they have the trigger button with the Shurella passive.
Yeah, it's a it's like a pseudo engage tool. You use it. You have you have basically a who's that? Severe's out in you. And then look at the mid lane. Now some easy trades going off for the thing as it's lights out and he just goes in, gets the kill. And then look at the top side. It really feels that he wants to go in for the kill, but he don't have the chase to really chase down the set there. As you know, trades coming in, really love it. Hasn't used the true damage of the Haymaker yet.
So now just to Darpling does fall down in 15
Ooh,
seconds. Alistar
look at
looking
this.
again.
Yeah, he pushes the Victor into the Singta, and that should be a... Oh, they both get stunned! But it won't be enough as Nuker goes down. Now they look for the kills on the top side.
Yes, Hard Easy managed to go over and take away the red buff.
Oh,
Bomb lane.
Flash goes in. I think that's a wasted flash. You know, he gets the extra speed. Are you gonna fly in? That's the question, as you don't, and he just gets the kill, and you get to clear the wave if you're out.
TP showing up and showing us why they are one of the favorites again. I really just can't emphasize this because this is just very clean play coming from TP. Punishing Ezreal for overstepping, looking to top side and look to mid lane as well just to punish the Orianna for ever going for trades with the Victor, because Nocturne can always engage on you from a distance, so you need to be aware of where Nocturne is before you take the trades.
You need to know where the junglers are before you take those trades, you know. It's really scary how Nocturne can just jump at you from nowhere with that paranoia. And then look, now he goes for the invade, and he's 30 CS ahead of the Singtao. How many jungle camps is that?
That's about 7 jungle camps, and I think the Khan was trying to steal the blue buff away from Orianna. Unfortunate that he wasn't able to pick it up. So kills aside and goal aside, NTU honestly, they're not say super far behind. They are still better than the previous game where at 15 minutes it felt like it was a gone game, right? There's still some hope coming for NTU. But TP, if they don't make any mistakes, it should just be a snowball.
Yup. You know, maybe even the Victor actually picked up the Dark Steel. So really, with that assist and kills, it really shows that he can go far with that snowball lead.
So now TP looking to probably wait for the next dragon. This is an Ocean Soul game, so definitely one of the best souls to get, the other one being Mountain. And after that, the first dragon I feel is the most impactful one now is the Mountain Dragon because of the resistance it gives you as well as the shield. And
look at that. He gets the fear off, he forces the TP. He may even just kill him before the TP comes in. Now Seth just outs no one, and it's lights out, and away we go as he goes for the Alistar. Actually hasn't even used it yet. He goes behind actually for the Orianna. Now Orianna's gone. Now what do you do even for the bottom side?
That was very clever from Hard EC. He knows that his team was separated from the Orianna, so he goes to the Orianna instead of the 3 members of Volibear, Ezreal and Alistar, and that was how Orianna gets caught. And we talked about how Hard EC is the focal point, right? Although Bottom did get the soul kills, and the 2v2 kills in the bottom side, it is all about the man in the jungle, Hard EC. He is the pivot point of how TP plays, and if he plays well, the team plays well. If he don't play well, the team usually don't play that well. But right now he is performing. He is 5-2-1, way ahead of the enemy jungle and just destroying the jungle path, the jungle camps, and as well as the jungler himself of NTU.
Yeah, and now both tier 1 towers have been destroyed for the likes of TP. They get them all down, and now they have a really near 10k gold lead.
10,000 gold lead, 17 minutes in the game. Seems like today's games are all relatively quick, don't you think so?
Yeah, they both actually just, you know, have a snowball and then it's just one-sided already. Now, you look at the mythics that TP has, all of them already completed. So it's really hard to go against that when, you know, your top laner and your support don't actually have anything.
So now looking at the map, they are posturing around the dragon. A dragon is spawning within a minute. So NTU, I think they don't have to contest with this. They can just give it away and probably look for the 4th dragon, because that would be the better time where they can actually fight. So right now they need to just focus on scaling. Until they get the items, they are then able to go into the jungle, the river, to contest for dragon. But as of now, the river as well as the jungle of the bottom side definitely belongs to the side of TP.
Yeah, you see, they're already here in the river and they can just set up a vision whenever they want. And now Singsa has a problem. He wants to get the Grom on the vision, as he is getting caught up by 3 members of TP right there. He's forced to use the flash, as look, they are chasing him down and he can't do much. He's forced to use his out there, and he will survive.
Yeah, so Singsa having to burn the flash, although having to burn the flash, he did live on. So that was actually good for the side of NTU. But
Oh, the top lane actually, Nuker takes a lot of damage from the Alistar, I believe, or Oriana, actually, both of them.
that was just unfortunate that they couldn't kill the Victor. But in the end, TP still managed to get the Dragon. So third Dragon goes over top of TP. The next one will be the Soul.
This is the one that NTU needs to contest, right?
100% they have to contest this because getting so early in the game actually brings in the Elder Dragon, right? And if you're not in the position to actually fight for the Elder Dragon, it's a 100% lose scenario for
Yeah.
you, right? So NTU, they just need to look to stabilize for the next 5 minutes. Maybe they just deny enemy Baron buff because that's the second win condition you have, taking Baron and just forcing the game through all the side lanes. So NTU, I wouldn't say they are out, but odds are looking very bad against them.
NTU can always contest that Dragon or the Baron. Both spawning, I believe, relatively soon. The Baron spawning in a minute or so. And
So when you look at the game right now, you see that both teams, they are the team fight comp. But we have not seen a 5v5 team fight yet because just through the laning phase itself, both teams are able to get a lead. And look,
oh look, he just gets caught out. He's forced to use the flash. They go in for a dive. He gets the silenced off and out. Ooh, nice steal from the Nocturne there.
Nocturne was like, give it to me, I'm the carry since takes the kill away from Nuka and look
Oh
at the jungle.
look, he gets caught out. Karma does get caught out though as the Volibear jumps in. Now they are on the pursuit. Hey, they have the TP and now look, TP is on the kill. They're hungry for blood out here, and they go for the Volibear. And next on the menu is Alistar and Oriana. One's metal and the other's meat. I think the beef is tasting nicer.
As the beef in Alistar did not get taken away. You don't have those juicy steak coming out from the Alistar. So NTU still survive for another day, but more kills going over the side of TP means that they are able to extend the lead even further. And TP just look like a very well-oiled machine right now. Although they give a few kills away, the way they're moving around the map is just very synchronized. And this is what you want from a team that is looking to compete for the top. You must be able to synchronize your macro decisions because that's the most important core of playing League of Legends in a competitive scene is knowing how to use the macro.
Yeah, and look, now you have the Herald going down mid and you get that tier 2 tower. And now you really don't have a way to back off as NTU.
And you know, they just have to defend the bottom side of the map because they need to contest for the next dragon. If they don't ever contest, then your only option is to actually go flip for the Elder Dragon. And what are the odds that NTU can actually survive all the way to the Elder Dragon if they don't take the next dragon?
I don't really think the chances are really low. You know, especially when TP has this big of a lead, 10k in gold. It really feels that TP can just end the game right here and then.
Yeah, but TP is taking it slow because they know that they have a very methodical way of ending the game. So they just want to probably wait for the next Ocean Dragon. Or they might even look to bait out the Baron and use the Baron as a way to force a fight. And from then, they just end the game. That's also possible. But NTU right now, they have two missions. First mission is to deny the Baron. Second mission is to contest for the Elder Dragon.
Yeah, both of that.
The Dragon Soul, I mean.
Yep, both of those are their win condition, and it's lights out. They go in for the Sing Zao right here. They're gonna use the TP on the top side. The Sing Zao's caught out. There's nothing you can run away from.
Unfortunate. And with the jungle down, this is definitely the call for Baron. Now you can see TP, they are running down to the Baron. Set is even walking all the way to the top side just to get the Baron. So this is just victory coming from inside of TP. And I don't see how NTU will come back from this because this Baron buff will still be in play when the dragon is spawning. So it will be very difficult to fight 5v5 with the Baron buff up on them.
Yep. Especially now that your jungler is dead, there's no way you can contest this. There's no vision, no nothing. Nothing you can really do as you look at bottom lane. They're both trying to get the set here, but he still has his Haymaker in play. He uses it. Ooh, that true damage! Look at it, he gets the kill onto the the Oriana right there, and now he may even look for more for the Volibear.
Just go for the solo kill, Suzuki. You know you can do it. And he's not going for the zero resistance build, but he is going for that true tank set just to absorb all the pressure at the side lanes.
Now you have that Haymaker, you can just change that team fight with a click of a button. You go in for the fight, you pop that out, boom, you get another star. Now you may look for more. You get that poke onto the Sing Zao, you want to die, do you? Look at that, he just flashes in, gets the kill on Sing Zao. This makes the end for NTU actually.
Yes.
What can the Ezreal do?
Nuko just flashing onto the Xin Zhao, not giving a damn about what's happening around the map because he knows he can walk up there and just
Oh,
get
Volley
on it.
may actually
Look at
find
Volley.
it. He doesn't go in. He knows, he respects the amount of players that TP has there. They don't want to contest that. Now, instead, he gets caught on his own and he goes down. And because of the shield, it allows the Victor to go in and get the kill. Now, True Shot Barrage misses by a long shot there. And TP gets all your tier 1, nearly all your tier 3, all your in-hip towers gone.
Yes, and TP right now, they are just playing with your foot, right? That was definitely a situation where they could have forced and then just go for the end. But Nuka is like, I'm just eating bear meat for dinner today, right? Because he just killed the bear with no signs of remorse. There was no empathy for the bear he was just about to kill. The bear is 0-3.
There's nothing you can do. You know, it's not a day when you have your support actually has a bigger bounty than your mid laner.
And when you look at, that's not even the bounties of the spot, you look at the entirety of TP, everybody has a bounty, right?
Yeah.
And the game is gone to a point where all the players in TP are just way too strong right now. And with the Ocean Soul, right? I don't see how NTU can come back.
It's like a portable base, you know. You just heal, like you won't die.
Yeah. So looking at this game, I do think there is no way coming back for NTU. But if, right, there's always an if, right? If TP says they want to play the foot a little bit more, and then maybe NTU get a good shutdown on all the members, who knows? Maybe Orianna is able to pull off the 5-man shockwave, or maybe the Volibear just get into the backline, just slam onto the Samira or even the Orianna or even the Nocturne, and there's a combo with the Alistar and Xin Zhao as well as the Orianna as well. That will definitely be a possibility that they can still fight for the Elder Dragon, but looking at it, I don't think it's possible.
No, but look at Orianna. She's completed the Rabadon's death cap already. You know, this item has a 63% win rate for some reason, because it boosts your AP so much that, you know, they can use it to turn a fight.
Yes, so with this 63% win rate, magic item, I think the odds of NTU winning this has risen to 63%.
Hopefully they can win.
Hopefully he's part of the 63% that can win the game, and if not, the unfortunate, not the unfortunate 37%.
Yeah. Now, especially when you're this back, and look, the lights out, you go in for that solo kill onto that Volibear, forces him to use the out, and now both of your 2 members of the TP is caught out on the top side. Look at that, he pushes him, but he uses the out to get out. The true damage just cuts Volibear's health in half. And look, your true shock barrage just gets blocked by Samira. Samira goes in, he gets a 2, he goes for a double kill, gets a Quadra kill.
Penta kill again?
It could be, he gets a Quadra. Who stole the Penta? It's a Penta!
Kill! And TP is just saying we are better than SUTD and show that they can get another pentakill by themselves. And TP looks to end NCU's first game of the tournament with a loss, going 2-0 up, keeping up the pressure with NYP, going into victory.
Yeah, this final kill, you get 2 pentas in a day. That's not something you would usually see.
Yeah, so this week has been very intense because 2 pentas in 3 games. This is such an amazing gameplay coming in from both sides. But this game is really just about how TP is able to win the 2v2 bottom by themselves. And from the 2v2 bottom, the other side of the map just have to win their own lane. And that from there just snowballs on to victory.
Once you have that bottom lane prio and that snowball lead, you just snowball the game from there.
There's really just no way there for NT to come back because they messed up the early game bottom. They gave the double buff over, and then Ezreal and Alistar just dies to Samira 2v1. And that was the end of the bottom lane. And then top lane just started to lose by themselves with the mid lane as well. And after that, hard EC with the Nocturne started to just gets the kill everywhere he goes. And from then on, it was just a very difficult road to come back.
Yeah, out of the 2 pentakill games, you know, it's all happened because of the bottom lane. The both AD carriers get those pentakills. I think it's because you fed them too early, you know. Once Samira and Ezreal build up those items, it's kind of impossible to go against them.
Yeah, so we've seen the pentakill from Lonely Soul from SUTD. We see the pentakill coming in from Ashton F from TP. And since these 2 teams have played each other already and it was in favor of TP, I'm excited to see how NYP, the next strong competitor in the group, go against these 2 teams because can these AD carries repeat the performance against NYP, who has much better players in general?
I think NYP maybe this year might not be the champion, who knows? Really, TP or SUTD, I think can come out really strongly this season. Yeah.
Yeah, so NYP definitely wants to try and compete, but whether they can compete or not is because it depends on whether they are able to overcome the two closest competitors right now in Group B, which are SUTD as well as Temasek Polytechnic. But before we even go over to the quarterfinals as well, even the finals, talk about who wins as well, you just have to make sure that whether NYP can slowly go over to the top of Group B and qualify as the first place in Group B.
Once you qualify that, you go on to the quarterfinals and you go on to that knockout stage. There's no more losers bracket anymore, I believe. So it should be a pretty interesting knockout.
Yeah, so before we even talk about all these knockout stages, it's just only week 2. There's still 7 more weeks left to go, 5 more weeks left to go before the qualifiers of the quarterfinals as well as the semifinals and the finals. So each team right now, those with the 0-2s, they need to start thinking about how they can claw back the wins, and then those with the 1-1s, it will be a tight race to the end, but there is still hope for those with the 1-1. But the 0-2s, the time is clicking a little bit, because if you don't get a win within the next week, I don't see the option. I don't see a way for you to ever claw back into this tournament.
Yeah, once they have those wins, it will be, an underdog kind of thing. You have the 0-2, you suddenly beat against NYP, TP, that kind of thing, and then suddenly those teams are not in the top echelon of the group anymore.
Indeed. So right now, as we end off Game 3 with Temasek Polytechnic being the victor, we'll now pass it back over to the host a little bit later to talk about the winners of the giveaways as well. So before we even talk about the games, let's look at the final brackets of the day for week 2. We see NYP as well as Temasek Polytechnic, I think, at the top of the group for Group B. SUTD and NUS a close second behind with 1-1. And for NTU, Murdoch, and ITECE, they are the ones with the 0-1 and 0-2. So for these teams, they really need to start thinking about how they want to get into the next group, because if they don't start winning any games, it will be more difficult for them to go on into the tournament. And for Group A, SP and SIM leading the group with 2 zeros, followed by RP, NP, SMU, and ITECC. And ITEC, College West, as well as Kaplan, they are the bottom 2 of the group. So SIM, the favorites in Group A, I feel, because they have so many players that are very known for their abilities. So they are honestly expected to take over the Group A. So SP a close second. SP just a very... they have been very close, right? Last week we saw them play, and they did perform very well early in their first game. They kind of take over the game over SMU. So Group A really seems to be a very close match.
I would like to talk about ITCC. Being from Central, I like how they came out with a win this week.
Indeed.
So, they put themselves in a spot that we may even see them in the top 8.
Yeah, I think that for Group A, the top 2 is kind of expected. We see SP and SIM, but the remainder 4 of them, RP, NP, SMU, and ITE College Central, which of them is able to take the last 2 spots depends on how well they will be able to play for the next coming weeks. But for Group B, it seems like it's much more of a closer battle, because it's much more of an open battle, because the top 2 is definitely NYP and TP. But whether anyone can take the 2 spots away from SUTD or NUS depends on whether the 3 remaining teams in the group is able to compete for any of the games.
I think it's almost time we can transfer it back to the host. I think it's been a good day. I'm Gopsty. You can find me on Twitter.
And I'm Raiko. I'm not really at Twitter yet, but one day I'll be there.
Yep. So,
we will now be passing it back to the host, I believe.
yep. Jolin Pop, take it away.
Hi guys, welcome back, and yes, this is Jolie Pop. So we have a few very exciting matches that we have seen previously. There's 2 pentakills. It was pretty amazing for out of like 3 games, right? So I guess this is the moment you guys are waiting for, the giveaway portion. The giveaway for the Lenovo gaming bundle of KM300 gaming keyboard as well as a mouse. Yep, do we have the winners up already? Alright, so I think if that's the case, right, the winners are not out yet. So I'm gonna just like briefly talk about today's games, right? Like there are three games that's happening today, and I think like there are a lot of things. I'm gonna read the comments a bit also. Let's see. Like a lot of people are commenting and talking about like the games and stuff, right? Also, right, the giveaway, like I just now mentioned about the rules of the giveaway, right? It's actually to comment who you think will win and also why you think they win, plus hashtag Legion. I've been scrolling at the comments and I realized like all of you guys are only commenting like your favorite institutions and not the reason why you think they'll win. So I guess it's for the next week because now we already closed the predictions for the day. So next week onwards, remember guys, okay, you have to comment which team you think will win. Number 1, remember. Number 2, why do you think they'll win? Why? Then the third thing is the hashtag, because I think nobody has been commenting about like why. So yeah, remember to comment these few things. And of course, congratulations to the winning institutions today. And of course, we do have more matches coming up next week. Right, we have the winners up already. So let's announce the winners for the Lenovo gaming keyboard and mouse. Who's that? That's Milky's. Milky's 0822. Congratulations for winning this. Just in case you're wondering what you win, this is actually the KM300 RGB gaming combo from Lenovo. You'll win a keyboard as well as a mouse, so this is the whole set. Congratulations. So for those that didn't win, right, don't worry, you can always come by again for all our streams. We actually have random giveaway that we'll be giving out. And of course, thank you so much. A big shout out to our sponsors, Lenovo, Legion, as well as Uniqlo for the beautiful shirt to make Jolene Pop look smart, as well as Murdoch and Kaplan and Murdoch University for being our academic sponsors, as well as tomorrow, remember, we will have our Campus Legend Week 2 Mobile Legends Bang Bang game tomorrow. So see you guys tomorrow, and I will sign off here. Jolene Pop. Bye bye.